saying yes.
The weather is finally a little more spring-like, so Carlos Carrasco is warmed up and ready to go. Tonight, he goes toe-to-toe with Seth Lugo, one of the top pitchers in the American League last season. The sun is out. The homestand continues. Let's get you ready as the New York Yankees host the Kansas City Royals on a Monday night at Yankee Stadium. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees batting practice today, presented by Audi. It is the start of a new series in the Bronx, and with the Royals in town, it is a rematch of last year's American League Division Series. The Yankees beat Kansas City in 4 games and went on to win the AL pennant, of course. But before we get to tonight's game, we must give just due to the new Captain America. For the first time in his career, Aaron Judge will don the red, white, and blue for Team USA and will lead the troops in next year's World Baseball Classic. The previous edition of the event ended with a thriller as Japan captured the gold medal over the U.S. In our Toyota quote of the day, Team USA manager Mark DeRosa was asked if it was a difficult task to get Judge on board.
It wasn't a tough sell. I had Andy Pettit on it from jump. Chad Bowling, also mental skills coach here, certainly helped. I reached out to Aaron pretty quick, and yeah, I mean, we wanted him the last time, and we knew he was going through the whole free agency process, and we wanted to respect that. But yeah, when it came to pass this time, Merritt was pretty easy choice.
Yeah, I've always wanted to play for Team USA. You know, watching the last couple WBCs, it's what a great experience. So I've been telling everybody here, I told everybody, you know, a couple years ago when they did it that, you know, I wanted to be a part of it. So, you know, now getting an opportunity where, you know, I just said one little thing to Andy and, you know, I'm here on the team. It's pretty special, yeah. But it's just, we're going to have an exciting group. You know, they had a great group last time and just excited to be another piece of that.
Go to the left all the way, Brendan.
And just how tough was it for you to watch it in 2023, knowing you wanted to play, but knowing also you had just signed that contract, you just been the Yankees team captain? Just, you know, how much did you want to really do it back then, and how hard was it to say no?
It was tough. It was tough, especially looking at the group they had, the lineup they had. You know, some of the greatest players in the game. You know, all stacked in one lineup. You know, it just was something I really wanted to be a part of. But I felt like first my responsibility was, you know, to the Yankees. You know, I just signed a new deal, just got named team captain. You know, I wanted to be, you know, a big part of, you know, getting the Yankees back to where they need to be. So I felt like I couldn't miss that first spring training. But, you know, now after we have another deep run this year and finish the job, it'll be fun going out there and representing our country.
Brian, staying on the left.
Aaron, what do you, first of all, are you going to start actively recruiting players for this? And what do you think it takes to build a winner in this tournament?
Well, I feel like Mark kind of had the recipe last year, you know, getting into the championship. You know, I think they had a great lineup, great bullpen and pitching staff. I think we can add a couple new pieces. There's a lot of young players in this game that are exciting, and I think definitely want to represent their country. So it's, yeah, recruiting, I think it's just, you want to go out there and win. I think that's the biggest thing is, like, I think this team's going to be on a mission. A lot of hungry guys from last WBC's team that wants to be in it. So, you know, I'm gonna leave all up to Mark and let him do his thing, get the team that he got last time, and yeah, you know, add a couple more faces.
So your Yankees captain, Aaron Judge, becomes the first player on the Team USA roster and will serve as captain. But he's not the only Yankees connection to the team. Andy Pettit, he returns as the pitching coach. Also, Matt Holliday is the hitting coach. Brian McCann is one of the assistants to manager Mark DeRosa. And George Lombard, whose son is George Jr., the Yankees' top prospect, is the first base coach. As for our series in the Bronx, let's set up the starting pitching matchup. The Yankees will have Max Fried ready to go tomorrow, and he's coming off that gem in Detroit. On Wednesday, we will see a welcome return. Clark Schmidt will slide back into the rotation for his season debut. Getting the ball tonight, though, it is Carlos Carrasco. It's the first matchup of the series. For the Royals, it'll be Seth Lugo on the mound. He's 1-1 with a 3.24 ERA, including the postseason. The Yankees faced him 3 times last year, but we begin with Carrasco, who is 1-1 and will be looking for a bounce-back outing. On another one of those cold days in Detroit, Carrasco made it through the first 3 innings last Tuesday with just 1 run on the board, striking out 3 of the first 10 hitters that he faced. But he ran into trouble in the 4th as the Tigers slugged 3 solo home runs in a span of 4 batters. Carrasco lasted 4 1/3 innings, allowed 4 runs on 6 hits, walked 1, struck out 3. However, the last time he was on the mound at Yankee Stadium, he did earn the victory over Arizona. Carrasco used a lot of sinkers and sliders against Detroit, and all 6 of the hits he gave up came off those pitches. 2 of the home runs were off sinkers, while the other a slider. After the game, Carrasco talked about what happened in that loss.
You know what, I think command, I just missed a couple of spots right there. I think the more important, just when you had your command, is everything's completely different, but I missed a couple of spots right there and I got hurt. So
you look at who's on the other side and the way he was working through the lineup. Do you feel like you have to be perfect out there when you're opposing a guy like Skubal?
You know what? No, we just go out there and try to make some run, but you know, he pitched well today.
Did the call detect your grips or anything like that, or anything?
No, it didn't happen. I just feel normal. I just made a couple of spots.
How do you feel in relation to how you did at the very end of spring training when you were earning that spot that you got in the rotation?
You know what? I think I need to get it back to there, man. You know, we just learned. I just learned something today, and I need to be a little bit more like specific in the pictures and all that kind of locators, especially. You know what? I'm just getting there.
Were you at all surprised how aggressive they were at times?
They were really aggressive in the first pitch. Was swinging a lot. Even when I get behind the count, there was a hard contact too.
Meanwhile, Seth Lugo finished 2nd in the voting for the American League Cy Young Award last year, and the Yankees got a good look at him. They faced him twice in the regular season, then met him again in Game 3 of the division series. Lugo lasted 5 innings, took a no decision in that game, but the Yankees ultimately came away with a win and then claimed the series the very next night. Lugo is the key to the game, brought to you by your local Kia dealers. He's done well against the Yankees in his career. He's 5-2 with a 2.68 ERA, and that number is even lower in games that he has started. Across those 3 outings last season, he went 1-1, surrendered 6 runs in 19 innings. We are dancing for joy. Yeah, because coming up next on Yankees Batting Practice today, presented by Audi, David Cohn joins the show. He knows a thing or two about the Yankees and the Royals. You will not want to miss it. How about Michael Space? That's next on Yes on the Gotham Sports app.
Yankees Batting Practice today is presented by Audi, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Yankees. Visit your tri-state Audi dealer today.
Practice today presented by Audi. As promised, our David Cohn joins us now from Yankee Stadium. And David, we learned officially this morning that Yankees captain Aaron Judge will also captain Team USA in next year's World Baseball Classic. Certainly it's an honor. With it, though, comes conversation about workload. So I want to get your overall take regarding the event and player participation.
Well, Nancy, I love the event. I love the fact that Aaron Judge is going to take the lead and be the captain of the event. I think you have to look at the big picture in the game itself and realize that the game is bigger than any one individual. So I applaud Aaron Judge for being the captain and going out there and setting the tone early. And everybody else will follow, because if Aaron Judge is on your team, he is so universally respected throughout the game that everybody else is going to fall right in line and play on that team and try to bring a championship back to the USA.
Very good. Exciting look ahead for sure. Okay, Michael was on the show with me yesterday, David, and we discussed the state of the current Yankees rotation. Max Fried, he has a sparkling ERA, 1.56. The rest of the staff, though, allowing on average 6.5 runs per game. To quote Aaron Boone, it's early, but they do have to do better, right?
Well, they do. You know, Max Fried has been every bit of the ace that they hoped he'd be, and maybe even more. He, you know, obviously with a Garrett Cole going down, that elevates him to #1, and he's been a true #1 so far, and I think that's great. Takes a lot of pressure off of everybody else. I think the cold weather has something to do with it in terms of control. I think that's why the Yankees have an elevated walk rate throughout their really not only the rotation but the bullpen as well. So I think that will get better. I've actually been very impressed with Will Warren. I think he's shown good improvement. His stuff is there. I think with a young pitcher, you've just got to give him reps. The lessons he needs to learn aren't lessons you can learn on video or aren't lessons you can learn from a coach. You can only learn in the middle of the diamond during a big league game. And I think he's shown promise. I want to see him throw more. I want to see him pitch more. I think he's got a lot of potential. And obviously the injuries have really kind of started to add up. And getting Clark Schmidt back will help a lot because he's an established big league pitcher. He's coming off of his best year last year. So that's the shot in the arm I think you need right now. But the Yankees are going to have to throw more strikes, and you're going to have to get their bullpen situated at the end and get Devin Williams comfortable and get him in some games where, you know, he starts to dominate again, because that's, you know, Nancy, confidence is very fleeting in this game for every pitcher, no matter how well established you are. And, you know, you can waver. You can have that confidence kind of go away for a minute here and there, but I believe he'll get it back. He looked better in his last outing, and if he's good at the end of the games, then everybody else can kind of fall in line along with Luke Weaver behind him and then down the order. So throw more strikes. The weather's warmer tonight. I think that will improve in terms of overall command for the entire pitching staff.
I just want a quick follow on the Yankees bullpen situation. They've been seeing plenty of action given the injuries and challenges, as you mentioned. The organization has proven that they are very adept at assembling groups of very strong relievers. I want to get your take rather on the usage.
Well, that's always the tricky part, especially early in the year. And, you know, Nancy, Major League Baseball did a study on pitchers' injuries, and it was pretty thorough. And they involved a lot of people, both past and present. And the thing they found is that the injuries really spike up at this time of the year. It's really the ramp-up phase from the latter parts of spring training and then the first month of April, where there is just a bevy of injuries for pitchers. You know, it really does shoot up, and then it kind of levels off as the season goes on. So this is the most important time of the year to really watch your workload, pay attention to the weather, pay attention to your pitchers and the usage, especially in the bullpen, and make sure you're taking care of guys and being able to give them a day or two of rest here and there. I've always believed, Nancy, that recovery is the most important thing for a pitcher. Extra rest really pays off, and that's really is the toughest part for any manager, is getting through April and avoiding these injuries that always seem to spike at this time of the year.
I think you'd make a mighty fine manager, David. And before we let you go, a couple of weeks into the young season, what storylines from around Major League Baseball have caught your eye early going?
Well, you know, I've been out in San Diego on the West Coast, and, you know, the Padres just really feel to me like they're a team that's poised to win right now. Michael King, our old friend, threw a 2-hit complete game shutout. That's a pretty rare feat in today's game. I think they're loaded. Fernando Tatis Jr. is a superstar that's playing like a superstar. Manny Machado at third base is a Hall of Fame third baseman, in my opinion, playing like a Hall of Fame third baseman. San Diego Padres are a story for me, especially when you consider that the Los Angeles Dodgers are the world champs from last year. Everybody expects them to repeat this year. I think it's going to be tougher for them than they think. The National League West is really tough right now, and we just saw the Giants come through as well. But to me, the early story is the Padres.
Folks, that's serious insight. Thank you, David. We will see you alongside Michael for the call of the game at the top of the hour. Thank you so much.
No, thank you, Nancy.
Let us take another break here on Yankees Batting Practice Today, presented by Audi. More to come as we get you ready for Game 1 between the Yankees and the Royals. Stay with us. Hear from New York Yankees top prospect George Lombard Jr., Vice President of Player Development Kevin Reese, and more on the newest batch of episodes of Conversations, a homegrown podcast. They're all streaming now on the Gotham Sports app. Time for some BP, everybody. right to the stadium, and with the captain, Aaron Judge, batting second, playing right, named captain of Team USA for the 2026 World Baseball Classic. He did not participate in 2023. Of course, that was his free agency year. Some of his stats this year, impressive, of course, as usual. 6 home runs. That is tied with 5 others for an MLB best. He's also got 20 RBIs, #1 in the majors, and he's batting .357 as well. How about a look at Anthony Volpe, batting 6th, playing short. Among AL shortstops, this is interesting. Out above average, the leader since 2024, Bobby Witt Jr. shows the way. #2 overall in the entire MLB, Anthony Volpe. Season stats so far, over 15 games, a .226 average, 12 for 53, 4 homers, 13 RBI, a .333 OBP, and a .509 slugging. And one more interesting fact, he reached in 7 of 16 plate appearances during Game 4 ALDS series versus KC last season. And Ben Rice, he leads off, and he is DHing. Season numbers, 14 games for him. He's batting .298, 4 homers, 6 RBI, .411 OBP, 638 slugging. Now, his numbers in the last series versus the Giants over 3 games, a .273 average, 3 for 11, a couple of runs, a homer, a couple of RBI, a couple of walks, and 3 strikes. 3 strikeouts, rather. It is so great to have you back with us here on Yankees Batting Practice today, presented by Audi. As we mentioned earlier, Clark Schmidt is all set to return to the Yankees rotation, and it will be a welcome boost. Earlier, Meredith Morakovitz caught up with Schmidt as he nears his season debut.
Thanks, Nancy. Clark, you're set to get the ball for the first time on Wednesday. Just what's the anticipation like as you wait?
Yeah, excited. I can't wait to get out there with my guys and get back to competing. You know, that's what I love doing the most, and I think just being able to go out there with my guys, compete every 5 days, something I've been looking forward to for a long time, and just excited to get out there.
A couple of rehab starts for you. What did you learn about where your stuff is at during those starts?
Really, really happy with it. I think, obviously not having a spring training, it takes a little time to get going and get back in the mix of things, but I felt like we did a really good job of kind of being able to ramp up quickly and take advantage of the time down there and make, the most of my starts down there. So feeling really good with my stuff and excited to get out there in the Bronx.
What told you were ready?
I mean, physically, obviously you have to hit some check markers where, you feel comfortable with, and I felt like I hit those. And then beyond that, just strike throwing and swing and miss, stuff like that, small things, but mechanically feel very in sound and feel very healthy. So those are the 2 biggest things that I'm trying to check, and we did those, and so we feel ready to go.
Speaking of health, are you doing anything differently to prepare to try to make sure you stay out there on the mound?
Yeah, I think routine, obviously making some routine adjustments, but, staying locked in with what I'm doing in between starts and every little thing that we do off the field, whether it's recovery based or with your catch play and your bullpens, and maybe not doing as much. I like to be full bore type of guy, and maybe throwing a little bit too hard and doing a little bit too much at times. So maybe backing off the gear a little bit when you're not making starts in your bullpen. So being smart and going about, but trying to get my work done, but also being smart with what I'm doing out there.
How brutal has it been for you having to watch from the dugout?
Yeah, it's been tough. I think obviously I love being here, supporting the guys, and I like to be a morale booster and being around the guys. I think you always want to bring positive energy when you're in the mix of a long season. So now it feels good to be able to go out there and compete and kind of get that juices flowing again. And this is what I love most, being able to compete, especially in this city, and can't wait to get back out there.
Morale booster or nuisance at times in here bothering guys?
A little bit of both. I think that's needed. I like to play, even though I'm starting to get a little older, I like to play the little brother role. I like to be picking on guys, get push buttons as much as I can, and I want to get under people's skin and get them going a little bit. So it's fun. I enjoy it.
How much do you feel like you can help kind of fortify this rotation that's kind of had a up and down start to the season?
Yeah, I think obviously very early, so I know everybody's going to get back on track, if they're off the rails a little bit, but just being able to go out there every 5 days and be able to compete and put up as many zeros as you can, I think it's going to help the guys. And obviously we have a lethal offense and a great defense, so letting my team work behind me, and my team's going to put up runs, I know that, so going out there and just doing my job.
When you look at that Royals lineup, What concerns you in that lineup when you think about how you're going to approach it?
I mean, obviously you have Bobby Witt, so you can't really talk about the Royals without him, and same thing with Salvi, and they have a knack for scoring runs, and obviously we have a familiar enemy with them, facing them last year in playoffs, so you know them a little bit, they know me as well, so I think there's a little bit of an edge as well with that. You know, they're familiar with your stuff, so being able to be creative and also sticking to your strengths. So obviously going to be a lot of fun being able to go out there and compete, and, you know, I'm looking forward to it.
Before I let you go, Aaron Judge was named captain of Team USA today. What did you make of that news?
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't pick a better guy. Captain America, I mean, he's on and off the field. He's everything that you look for in a guy to lead your team and to lead your country. It's going to be very exciting, and, you know, I've been in Andy's ear. Hopefully, and I know all the guys here. We're all in Andy's ear, trying to you know, be on Cap's team and support him and be able to ride the coattails to a victory and bring a gold medal back to the country.
Have you guys started calling him Captain America?
Yeah, I think it started today. As soon as I saw him, I think his new name is no more Cap. It's Captain America now. Yeah, I think he likes it. Very humble guy, obviously, but he's fun. He's fun to mess around with. So Captain America it is from now.
Clark, appreciate it. Best of luck on Wednesday.
Thank you.
Send it back to you, Nancy.
Time for one last break on Yankees batting practice today, presented by Audi. We'll be back to wrap things up after this. Welcome back to the injury report. The official hospital of the New York Yankees. Marcus Stroman is on the injured list with left knee inflammation. He received a cortisone injection to ease the swelling. Some things to watch for. The Royals offense ranks 27th in runs per game. They've hit just 8 home runs, tied for the fewest in baseball, but Salvador Perez is a tough out. As for the Bombers, good things happen when they score at least 5 runs. Perhaps Austin Wells can help with that tonight. He's done well against Kansas City. That does it for this edition of Yankees Batting Practice Today, presented by Audi. Our next BPTV comes your way tomorrow at 6 p.m. Right now, our game day coverage rolls on. It's the first game of a 3-game set versus the visiting Kansas City Royals at the stadium. It's Carlos Carrasco back on the hill for the home team, looking to get things started with victory. We've set the scene. Time to hand off the best pregame in the business. Next on Yes and the Gotham Sports app.
Judge has been a Superman for the Yankees for years, and now the Bomber slugger is ready for a new role as Captain America. But before he battles for world supremacy, there's a new opponent in town. Anthony Volpe is dialed in, and so is another young shortstop, Bobby Witt Jr., finishing second to Judge in the MVP voting last year, and his stardom continues to blossom. It's a postseason rematch as the New York Yankees host the Kansas City Royals on a Monday night at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. We certainly hope you're having a great night as we welcome you to the FanDuel Yankees pregame. Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry with you. First to three Yankees and Royals. 3 sometimes, if that's the way you prefer it, because it's a good matchup, which is maybe why I'm a little tongue-tied. The Royals come in 8-8. Their starters, Jack, have been really good. The Yankees were terrific their first 8, going 6-2, averaging 9 runs, but they're 2-5 over their last 7. Scoring runs overall been a problem, though at home that's not as much of an issue, but pitching has been an issue as that sets the stage for your Hyundai opening comment.
Well, whether it's Aaron Judge doing Aaron Judge things tonight, or it's Ben Rice continuing to mash the baseball, or it's Carlos Carrasco finding the fountain of youth and finding his location, one way or another, the Yankees need to figure out a way to continue their mastery over the Royals. It's been about a week of doldrums for the Yankees. They've lost 5 of their last 7 games after a really strong start. They typically play well at home. They play well when they hit the ball over the fence. They typically win when that happens. And, of course, when you talk about that, Judge is the first player you think about.
Well, speaking of Judge, let's get it out to the stadium right now. Meredith Morakovich standing by with the Clubhouse Report presented by your local Ford stores. And pregame, big news as Aaron Judge goes from the captain of the Yankees to the captain of Team America. Tell us about that.
And Bob, his teammates are already recognizing it. I talked to Clark Schmidt for the BP show, and he said the first thing he said to Aaron Judge when he saw him today was, "Hi, Captain America." So some of his teammates are already going with that route. But he was named captain of the USA WBC team. Earlier, I asked Aaron Judge what it means to him and how excited he is about representing his country in the tournament.
Always wanted to play for Team USA. You know, watching the last couple WBCs, it's what a great experience. So I've been telling everybody here, I told everybody, you know, a couple years ago when they did it that, you know, I wanted to be a part of it. So, you know, now getting an opportunity where, you know, I just said one little thing to Andy and, you know, I'm here on the team. It's pretty special, but it's just, we're going to have an exciting group. You know, they had a great group last time and just excited to be another piece of that. I really feel like the guys do shed their egos and we're all under one flag, one nation. I think that's a pretty cool concept, and you get a bunch of guys that competed against each other all year long, and now you get to bring us all together and, you know, fighting under one mission. It's going to be something special. So I think just the excitement of getting a chance to represent your country. We play this game for such a small amount of time, so, you know, getting an opportunity like this, I think guys really gravitate towards it.
Now, Aaron Judge didn't play in the tournament last go-around. They did want him on Team USA, but he had just signed his long-term deal with the Yankees, so he wanted to focus on getting to spring training and making sure he was ready to go for the season. It was Mike Trout who served as the captain of the squad in the last tournament. Manager Mark DeRosa, as you saw sitting there, said he actually called Trout and said, "Hey, I want Aaron Judge on the team, and I want to make him captain. What do you think?" And Trout essentially said, "That's the guy. Do it." After that, Mark DeRosa called Aaron Judge, and Aaron Judge said immediately that he was in. Earlier, I asked the Yankees manager, Aaron Boone, what he thinks about Aaron Judge being named captain of Team USA.
Look, I think it's the perfect face to be the captain of Team USA. So I know he's really excited about it, and so I think it'll be a great thing.
Any hesitation with players playing in that?
No, I mean, sometimes players that aren't healthy, or, you know, I think more the pitcher part of it. You know, that's the tricky part of it. You know, position players not as much. I think, you know, just that time of year with pitching and getting ramped up and, you know, injury history and things like that, that's always a little bit dicey.
You say he's the perfect person.
Yeah.
In your mind, why is that so?
It's Aaron Judge. I mean, you know, in a lot of ways, certainly one of the faces of baseball, and such a magnetic personality that people gravitate to, that people around the game love and respect, and you know, I think it'll be great.
And you wonder if any of his teammates will join him in representing Team USA. When I spoke to Schmidt for the BP show, he said he's already been chirping in Andy Pettit's ear, and he's not the only one. They know Pettit, who's going to serve as the pitching coach, is the pipeline to Mark DeRosa. So a lot of them campaigning to be part of the captain's team. As far as this afternoon's, or this evening's lineup, I should say, is concerned, of course, Aaron Judge is in the lineup. He's playing right field, but Cody Bellinger is not. Aaron Boone said just picking his battles for Bellinger during this 13-day stretch. He did have the back issue earlier this season, so doesn't want to push him too much. So you're going to see Trent Grisham in center field. Bellinger is available off the bench, and it's Jason Dominguez out there in left field. As far as the pitching matchup is concerned for tonight and for this series, let's take a look at him right here. Carlos Carrasco going for the Yankees tonight. He'll be followed by Max Fried, who was exceptional last time out in Detroit. And then Clark Schmidt will come off the IL to make his season debut. I asked Schmidt what the anticipation is like as he waits to get the ball on Wednesday.
Yeah, excited. I can't wait to get out there with my guys and get back to competing. You know, that's what I love doing the most. And I think just being able to go out there with my guys, compete every 5 days, something I've been looking forward to for a long time, and just excited to get out there.
A couple of rehab starts for you. What did you learn about where your stuff is at during those starts?
Really, you know, really happy with it. I think, you know, obviously not having a spring training, you know, it takes a little time to get going and get back in the mix of things, but I felt like we did a really good job of kind of being able to ramp up quickly and take advantage of the time down there and make, you know, the most of my starts down there. So feeling really good with my stuff and excited to get out there in the Bronx.
What told you you were ready?
I mean, physically, you know, obviously you have to hit some check markers where, you know, you feel comfortable with, and I felt like I hit those. And then beyond that, just strike throwing, and swing and miss, stuff like that, small things, but mechanically feel very in sound and feel very healthy. So those are the two biggest things that I'm trying to check, and we did those, and so we feel ready to go.
And that was the injury report with Clark Schmidt, brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. And Bob, before I send it back to you, I know you probably get enough of me during the pregame show, but tomorrow I'm taking over. It is the first BP All Access of the season, and it is going to be a big show. We're expecting to have Captain America himself, Aaron Judge, on set. Also, David Cohn will join me, and there's an all-new Mayor on the Move involving a former Yankee who's won World Series, who's fishing in Tampa. So it should be a good one, Bob. I hope you'll tune in before you get ready for the pregame show.
Absolutely will. More Mayor on Tuesday. Thanks for that. We'll see you in just a little bit with Michael, Paul, and Coney. Tonight, stay tuned for the premiere of the new Yes docu-series, The Stadium, where we take you behind the scenes to see the inner workings of one of the most iconic sports venues in the world. Watch the first episode immediately following post-game coverage on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Meanwhile, the real premiere of Aaron Judge's Captain America won't hit ballparks until next spring, but we got a sneak peek today. We'll talk about the new leader of the Stars and Stripes next on the FanDuel Yankees pregame on Yes and the Gotham Sports app.
The Yankees pregame show on Yes is presented by FanDuel. New customers get $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. The Yankees brought to you in part by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com.
All season long here on Yes, we want to invite you viewers to show us the different ways you support the Bronx Bombers. Use the QR code on screen with a hashtag Toyota Pinstripe Pride and post pictures to social media that reflect your love for the Yankees. We might spotlight you in a future game. Pinstripe Pride is brought to you by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicles of the Yankees. Toyota also bringing us the Yankees starting lineup that will go up against Seth Lugo, and starts with Ben Rice in the leadoff spot. He has a nine-game on-base streak. Paul Goldschmidt 7 for 11 in his career off Seth Lugo with 2 home runs. Aaron Judge is 0 for 8 with 3 strikeouts against him, but he has been tearing the cover off the ball, and he's reached base safely 3 times for a second straight game. Also really good numbers in his career, Jack, as you see, against the Royals in 37 games. And now he's the WBC captain. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you look at who Judge has been in Major League Baseball, and they could not have picked a better player to ascend to that role. The nickname Captain America, it seems perfect and appropriate, Bob, because if you were to pick out someone in Major League Baseball who resembles an action hero, wouldn't you go for the guy who's 6'7", 282 pounds, and hits home runs with more regularity than anyone else in baseball? And I think it was really cool how Judge talked about embracing this role, about wearing that USA on his chest. And I'm sure that when the time comes, there will be people who will flock to being on that team because Judge has now said, hey, I'm here, I'm the captain, I'm ready to go.
As for this rematch over the next 3 games, we've talked about the numbers for these teams, and Yankees just feel like they need to steady themselves. This is a Yanks team that beat the Royals in the division series, but they want to get some traction going now, especially at home.
And the way you steady yourselves is by getting solid starting pitching, and that's been the problem for the Yankees across these 7 games where they've lost 5 of them. Bob, their starting rotation has an ERA of almost 7. When your starters are having those kinds of outings and putting you behind the 8 ball early in games, it's going to make it very difficult for you to come back. That being said, the Yankees also haven't scored that much, 23 runs in the last 7 games. But I do point to the pitching because, as you said, if you're looking for something to stabilize your team, normally it's the pitcher who's out there, and it could get you off to a strong start, not put you in an immediate hole.
Well, let's take a look at the Royals lineup that will go out there against Carlos Carrasco tonight. It's brought to you by Toyota as well. Jonathan India and Bobby Witt Jr. have homered off Carrasco in their careers. For Witt, he's a .305 hitter to start the season. He has hits in 6 straight, and he's only the 8th player in history to have back-to-back 30 30 seasons, and were it not for a man named Aaron Judge last season, he would have been a runaway MVP.
Yeah, he finished second in the MVP, as he should have. Judge deserved to win that MVP, and he won it unanimously. But I watch Witt, Bob, and the words that leap to mind for me are exciting, dynamic, must-see. It's power, it's speed, it's defense. He plays a premium position, and he plays it as well, if not better, than anyone in baseball. You mentioned the back-to-back 30-30 seasons, which has only happened 8 times in history, or 8 players have done it. A couple of guys on that list, Willie Mays, Barry Bonds. So obviously we're talking about the best of the best. I know he finished second to Judge in 2024. Bobby Witt has a long career ahead of him, Bob. I see multiple MVP seasons for him.
Yeah,
that's how good he is.
He is a legit 5-tool player. All right, time for another break on the FanDuel Yankees pregame. And still to come, we're going to break down what to expect from Carlos Carrasco. Cookie getting the ball and the boogie down, and we'll talk about that coming up next.
The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by EEP Law. Counsel that cares. Results that matter. The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by Cadillac. Spring is the season for new beginnings, and it's the best time to get behind the wheel of a sophisticated new Cadillac SUV. Visit your Tri-State Cadillac dealer today.
Hey Yankees fans, I'm News 12 meteorologist Hope Aselka with your game day forecast. The Yankees are right at home here in the Bronx. Here's how it's looking at first pitch. Cloudy sky, calm winds, temperatures will be in the upper 50s. By the 7th inning, it's cool and pleasant, and by the end of the game, all you need is a light jacket. It remains dry, but then we're tracking some changes overnight. So what's your mood cast? How does this weather make you feel? Let us know at News 12 The Bronx. Enjoy the game. Back to you.
Thank you, Hope. Carlos Carrasco would like to have a good mood cast after this one. Jack, his last outing against Detroit, giving up 3 home runs. Right now got that ERA north of 7.
Yeah, the pitch that he throws most often is the slider. He hasn't fooled anybody with that. Batters are 6 for 10. You see that his velocity is about 1.5 miles below what the average velocity is in Major League Baseball. And Bob, I had the chance to talk to him a couple of times in spring training. He thought his stuff in Tampa felt like the way his stuff felt 5 years ago. He hasn't shown that yet, and that's because the location has been off. He's not going to overpower anyone. He needs to be precise with his location in order to get himself through innings. The Tigers really barreled up some baseballs against him, a lot of hard contact. So precision and location, that's what Carrasco needs tonight.
We'll keep an eye on that location. Be interesting to hear what David Cohn, who's calling the game tonight, will have to say about Carrasco and the pitching. Meantime, you brought this up. If your name isn't Max Fried right now, you got a little bit of work to do, to be honest. Though Will Warren looked better in his last outing. Jack Fried has the ERA of 1.56, while the rest of the staff, it's north of 5. Now, having said that, they do get Clark Schmidt back on Wednesday.
And the Yankees are excited that Fried will be on the mound tomorrow, so you get a chance to see him coming off that 11 strikeout, no walk performance. They need a boost from Clark Schmidt. They need him to have the feel for the pitches that he had at the minor league level. And, Bob, when you lose Garrett Cole for a year and you lose Luis Gil for an undetermined amount of time, we don't know exactly when he will be back, you have to rely on your depth. And we're seeing that in relying on that depth, the Yankees haven't gotten the results that they hoped for. If you push Fried's 1.5 ERA to the side, the other starters have an ERA of about 7. That being said, Rodon has looked good, except for the moments where he has the bad inning or the bad sequence. So if he can get that straightened out, then the Yankees will have a pitcher they can rely on, too.
You told us last night on the postgame when we talked about Seth Lugo that we're going to see the ultimate kitchen sink guy. Well, let's take a look at his StatCast arsenal, courtesy of Google Cloud. StatCast 3D bringing us not 6, not 7 pitches, Jack. We're going to take a look at this. It's actually, according to StatCast, 10 different pitches. So that is a kaleidoscope of color and kitchen sink. And it might also involve the sink that's in the laundry room. I'm not sure. That's a lot of pitches.
So I watched that, Bob, and here's what I have to say. Where's the knuckleball? I mean, this guy doesn't throw a knuckleball. Is he really trying out there? But in all seriousness, the curve, the slow curve, the slider, the slurve, and the sweeper are all pitches that he throws. They're all under the same umbrella. What we should say about Lugo is he deserves a ton of credit for repurposing himself, essentially. Going back to the rotation after being a reliever, turning into a workhorse. He pitched well on the road last season. And Bob, with all those offerings, even if some of them are cousins or long-lost brothers of each other in terms of pitches, when you have that many offerings, you can make yourself that much more deceptive to hitters.
Well, want to remind you that the New York Yankee Foundation's 50-50 raffle is now open. During every home game at Yankee Stadium, one lucky fan wins half the pot, and the other half is donated to the New York Yankees Foundation. Buy your tickets for tonight's game at yankees.com/5050. One last break of the FanDuel Yankees pregame. Up next, we'll get Jack's key for Game 1 of this series between the Yanks and Royals. So stick around on Yes in the Gotham Sports app.
The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Hyundai dealers. There's never been a better time to test drive that Hyundai you've always wanted. Visit HyundaiUSA.com today. The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. Learn more at Genesis.com.
It's time for the pregame odds segment presented by FanDuel. It's a rematch of last year's American League Division Series as the Yankees host the Royals in the Bronx. For a same-game parlay, how about Aaron Judge, the new Captain America, to homer, Anthony Volpe to get a hit, and Carlos Carrasco to go over 3.5 strikeouts. That parlay would hit at plus 597. Right now, new customers get $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins.
Normally, Captain America has a shield, but prior to tonight's game, Aaron Judge got another Silver Slugger, the 4th of his career. And it wasn't just Judge taking home the hardware. The Yankees earned the Team Silver Slugger Award, and hitting coaches James Rowson, Casey Dykes, and Pat Ressler were out there to accept it. So great for the team, and Jack, certainly for Aaron Judge, who's got to do a little build-out on that trophy case at home. As for Devin Williams, he just wants to find a way to get right and in a rhythm and consistent, Jack, and maybe he found something on Saturday night.
Yeah, look at this changeup to Lee. I think this is the best changeup he has thrown all season. He got that strikeout with a couple of runners on base. He came back and was able to get another strikeout of Chapman on a changeup that dropped out of the zone. And he ended the game by getting soft contact on that changeup. So when you talk about what makes Williams at his best, yeah, the fastball's got to be a part of it, but that airbender needs to be a part of it. That pitch looked elite on Saturday.
They want to get him in. If they get him in, that means they're probably in line for a win. Bullpen seems to shape up okay for tonight. They might need it backing up Carrasco. With that in mind, is that part of your key to the game?
Well, we're talking about Captain America and shields and Silver Slugger. So, Bob, my key is punch first. If you're the Yankees offensively, you can make your life so much smoother when you're able to get out to an advantage. And I think the Yankees would like to do that. You allow Carrasco to breathe a little bit easier. He struggled in his last start against Detroit. Try and do some early damage against Lugo. Put some runs on the board.
We're about to find out what happens. Game 1 of 3 between the Yankees and the Royals, and it is Michael Kay, Paul O'Neill, David Cohn with a call. Meredith Marakovich reporting. We look forward to seeing you on the postgame. Enjoy it. Game 1 coming up next on Yes in the Gotham Sports app.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Yes.
Spring has sprung. It is a beautiful evening here in New York City. The crowd filing into Yankee Stadium, where it is time for baseball. As the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Kansas City Royals in the first of 3 from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Yankees Baseball, along with Paul O'Neill. And look who's back, David Cohn. I'm Michael Kay. Should be a fun series. Yankees and the Royals. We'll take a look at the pitching matchup in this one, and it is the Home Depot getting it done pitching matchup. Yankees are very familiar with Seth Lugo as he gets start, and for the Yankees, Carlos Carrasco. You look at those numbers, David, they don't jump out at you, but Aaron Boone said if you look under the hood, he's actually pitched pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, you're trusting the experience level of Carlos Carrasco and his leadership value. And in spring training, he was very good. And when he's good, he's on the edges. He can change speeds, mix it up. But when he's not, this is what happens. The ball leaves the ballpark, and when the ball's up and out over the plate, it doesn't come back. So that is the key for Carlos Carrasco, is to get the ball down and get it on the ground.
The Yankees starters have not done a good job other than Max Fried. Look at the team ERA starting-wise, 5.40. That's the worst in Major League Baseball. Now, to make matters worse, they have to face one of the best players in baseball, the guy who finished second in the MVP voting last year to Aaron Judge, and that's Bobby Witt Jr. He's special.
Well, he is. He's only 24 years old, and there's nothing on the baseball field that this kid can't do. He hits for power. He hits for average. He led the league last year with a batting title. He won a Gold Glove. He won a Silver Slugger. He stole a lot of bases. There's nothing that he can't do, and this team is built around his athleticism.
Yeah, there are some things that he did that not many people have done. We're going to show you a graphic. Look at the top line. And those are the guys that have done that since 1940. Joe DiMaggio, Stan the Man, and Bobby Witt joins that group as well. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Well, simply marvelous news. Captain America. There's a new one. He's a new captain of the WBC. He will be playing in the next iteration of that tournament. Aaron Judge talks about it when we get back right here on Yes.
Welcome back to Yankees Baseball on Yes. First pitch between the Yankees and the Royals is set to get underway in just a couple minutes. Hey everyone, I'm Meredith Marakovitz. Earlier today, it was announced that Aaron Judge will join Team USA for the World Baseball Classic. He will serve as their captain. Earlier today, I asked him what it means to him to represent his country.
Always wanted to play for Team USA. Watching the last couple WBCs, it's what a great experience. So I've been telling everybody here, I told everybody, a couple of years ago when they did it that, I wanted to be a part of it. So, now getting an opportunity where, I just said one little thing to Andy and, I'm here on the team. It's pretty special, but it's just, we're going to have an exciting group. They had a great group last time and just excited to be another piece of that.
The Andy Judge was referring to is Andy Pettitte. He will serve as the team's pitching coach. I just spoke to Clark Schmidt a little while ago, and he said many of the guys in that clubhouse are talking to Andy, campaigning to get themselves on the team with Captain America. Plenty more to come here on the Yes Network when we get back. Michael Kay will be joined by David Cohn and Paul O'Neill. First pitch coming your way after the break.
Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by your local tri-state Genesis retailers. Learn more at genesis.com. By Tunnel to Towers. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at ttt.org. By Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. And by Hyundai. With a brand new Hyundai, there's joy in every journey. Crowd still filing in the Yankee Stadium. The Yankees have taken the field to begin this three-game set with the Kansas City Royals. Let's take a look at the Royals starting lineup. The DH is Jonathan India. He'll start it off. Bobby Witt Jr. bats second. Vinny Pasquantino at first base hits third. Cleaning up, the veteran catcher, Salvador Perez. Michael Massey at second. Michael Garcia at third. Kevin Biggio on right field is going to bat seventh. Batting eighth and playing left field, Drew Waters. And Kyle Isbell will play center field, and he is going to bat ninth.
And there's Cookie Carrasco towing the slab of the boogie down here tonight. See, on the year, numbers are rounding out. Not so great so far, but he's got a great track record. The Yankees are really counting on him. And let's check out the Nissan pitcher scouting report for Carlos Carrasco. And it's Command Central because Command is central. And then the ground game, he really needs to get the ball down, get it on the ground. His career average in that regard is 48% ground ball rate, just 36 so far this year. So September 13, 2009 was his first start against the Royals.
All right, let's do it here in the Bronx. The first pitch is a strike, and we are underway.
Tony, is that a misprint, 2009?
Yes.
That's a ways back.
Yes, he's been around the block.
The 0-1. 1-1. Well, India started out with a .409 on base percentage first 10 games, but he's 1 for 17 over his last 5. And the Royals went out and got him because their leadoff hitters last year had a major league low .270 on base percentage. So they traded Joey Weimer and Brady Singer to the Reds for him. 2-2. Take a look at the Yankee defense. Dominguez in left, Grisham in center, Judge over in right. Infield, Cabrera, Volpe, Chisholm, and Goldschmidt. Balls behind the plate. Ben Rice, the DH, and the veteran Carrasco is on the mound. Game time weather presented by Bigelow, the official hot tea of the Yankees. 59 degrees. It feels about that. We're safe with rain. 51% humidity. The wind is blowing from right field to left field. A little different than Friday, right, Paul?
Unbelievable. Coney, you wouldn't believe it. You just held out until it got warm. I see what you did.
I brought it with me, yes.
India's been a solid player for Cincinnati. He was a Rookie of the Year in 2021, so they're bringing him over here. Pretty good offensive player. He draws a walk right there.
All right, it's time for the keys to the game, brought to you by your local Kia dealers.
Well, winning ways, trying to get back to them. They've lost back-to-back series against the Tigers and the Giants. You got to turn that thing around. And best of the best. We've been over it with Judge and Witt. They were number 1 and 2 in the AL MVP voting last year. Two of the better players, no doubt about it. And help on the way. Clark Schmidt will start on Wednesday. This starting rotation has got to get better. 5.40 ERA. Highest in the majors.
Here's Bobby Witt. 332, 32 homers, 109 ribbies last year. Popped up. Goldschmidt will make the play. All right, Marvin Hudson is the home plate umpire. He's considered pitcher friendly. Calls more outside strikes, more inside strikes on righty batters, and Marvin, the crew chief, in his 28th big league season. Trip Gibson's at first, Ryan Blakeney is at second, and Junior Valentine is over third. Royals come in 8-8, and the Yankees come in with a record of 8-7. Pasquantino takes low.
Yeah, the Royals waiting for their offense to turn around. Their starting pitching's been really good, and it was good last year too. Took them all the way to the playoffs, but so far this year offensively they have really struggled.
The Royals really leaning into that old school powder blue look, right? Wow. The unis and the white kind of two-tone helmet. That's a new feature.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the uniforms, the helmet. Yeah, that draws a blank. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, that's a new one. Powder blue is back.
Rip foul.
Wow.
If I squint, I can. I'm almost seeing Hal McRae, UL Washington.
Yeah, UL with the toothpick in his mouth. Right?
Al Cowens.
(3-1) on Pasquantino. Pasquantino missed the final 27 games of the year last year with a right thumb that was broken, but he made it back for the playoffs. But he was 3 for 23 in the postseason for the Royals. 3-2.
Well, he's the power guy. To your point, Paulie, they really need him to stay healthy and be the run producer in the middle of that order, the guy who can really change a game with one swing of the bat.
Yeah, he had an injury last year, broke a thumb, and their offense went way down drastically. And, he was responsible. He had 98 RBIs, I think, in like 100 games. So he was a run producer.
Second walk of the inning for Carrasco. And Boone has come out and said this the last couple of days. We've got to cut down on the walks. The Yankees have been walking way too many people because you're putting free people on base. The Yankees 12.4% walk rate. That's the highest in the majors. Major league average is 9.2. So they're walking too many people. Came back to bite Rodon yesterday as well.
That 9.2 is up league-wide, too. Usually stabilizes in around 8%, somewhere in the 8s.
Perez takes a strike. It's going to be 35 in May, his 14th big league season. Catching fewer games than he has in the past. About a 55-45 split with Freddie Fermin behind the plate. Plays some first base and also DHs.
You know, the problem that you have in terms of approach with regards to Carlos Carrasco is that you have to almost be more aggressive to throw strikes, but you have to be on the edges too. So the real key is early in the count, throwing your breaking balls for strikes, pitching backwards. Because if you miss with that, now you're in a quandary. Now you got to come in there, and if you don't, you end up walking a couple of guys like this inning. You almost have to be more aggressive early in the count to try to get ahead.
Coney, you went through that, I'm sure, in your career where, you know, as soon as you broke in, you could make a mistake. Your velocity was up. You could get away with things. Now, you know, in his career, you almost have to pitch perfect. You cannot miss location-wise.
And you got to land that breaking ball for strikes.
Swing and a miss. Got him on the change. 2-away.
Good finish pitch right here. You can see kind of the split grip, corkscrew spin, tumbling dice, as Kenny Singy used to say.
It's an old Rolling Stones song. I like it.
Yep.
That brings up Michael Massey. 1 hit in his last 12 at-bats. Royals in the middle of a long road trip, a 10-game road trip. They just left Cleveland, where they won on Sunday to avoid getting swept. Then it's the Yankees and then Detroit. Two 2-0. And one thing the Royals do not do is hit home runs. They have 8 home runs in 16 games. Toronto is tied with them. 8 home runs is not a lot of home runs.
Yeah, that's a shocker, too, when you hear Toronto up there, too.
Mohegan Sun team scouting report. Struggling offense.
Yeah, no doubt about it. 4th lowest in the major leagues per game. They're just, and you already talked about it, fewest home runs, only with 8. Great starting pitching, though. 2.77 ERA leads the American League. And watch out for Witt. We talk about his talent. I mean, Bobby Witt can do everything. Average power, speed, great shortstop.
First and second. Top of the first. 2-2 count. Check swing, and the count is full. That releases the runners. 3-2, 2 outs. And he didn't go.
On the mound saying, how can you take that pitch?
Yes, exactly. I needed you to swing at that.
Fly ball left field. Dominguez is there. Dominguez puts it away, and that'll do it. So he pitches around the 2 walks as the Royals strand 2, and the Yankees are coming to bat. Well, the Royals don't score on the top of the first. Now it's the Yankees' turn against Seth Lugo. Here's the Yankee lineup. Ben Rice, the DH, leads off. Then Aaron Judge in right. Austin Wells will catch. Cleaning up, first baseman Paul Goldschmidt. Jazz Chisholm Jr. at second. And Anthony Volpe, the shortstop. Batting 7th, switch hitting left fielder Jason Dominguez. Trent Grisham gets start in center. And Oswaldo Cabrera at third base will bat 9th.
And here is Seth Lugo. And he is a tough customer, off to a decent start once again. He can spin it. He can pitch a little bit. He's wanted to start for a long time. Finally getting a shot over the last couple of years, and he was right. He's a starter. Coming off a career year last year, he was 2nd in the Cy Young Award voting to Tarek Skubal. And spin master, he can really spin his breaking stuff with a big-time curveball. One of the best in the game.
Ben Rice will lead off against Lugo. Crack foul down the right field line.
Ben Rice comes out of the on-deck circle. He's right on the fastball, Coney. You're gonna see a lot more breaking balls as the time goes by, because he has been able to spin and just open up on that fastball.
That was the area that he kind of got exposed last year. His pitches in, cutters in from righties, sinkers from lefties in, and he's really made that adjustment.
Yeah, he's opened his stance a little bit, if you've noticed, and it just makes it a little bit easier to, you don't cut yourself off by being open. You see the ball a little bit longer and still just waffle that inside pitch.
Here's the defense for the Royals. Pretty good defense. Waters in left, Isbell in center, Biggio over in right. Infield, Garcia, Witt, Massey, and Pasquantino third to first. The veteran Perez behind the plate. India the DH, and the veteran righty, Lugo on the mound. Now, Lugo made a lot of news last year because he had 9 different pitches. And now he has added kind of an ephus slow curve pitch. So now he has 10 different pitches from which to choose.
I call eyewash on that.
Okay. Hit sharply. Wow. And grabbed there by Massey on the backhand. Well, StatCast Google says, is this eyewash? It's from Google Cloud. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
There's some tomato in there, in my opinion. You can group a couple of those together.
See the slow curve, Coney? It's the only one he throws for a ball. The rest of them are right down the middle.
Here's the Yankee captain, and we told you during the Open that he is the captain of Team USA for the WBC next year. They're calling him Captain America. Mark DeRosa, who's going to manage the team, called up Mike Trout, who was the captain for the previous WBC, and he said, what would you think? And without a blink, Trout said, he's the one. Fouled away.
It's pretty hard to say no when Aaron Judge is your captain. And if he calls you and says, hey, Paul, you want to play on my team?
Yeah.
Yes, I'll come.
Sir.
That's the kind of respect he has in the game.
And the 0-2. Swing and a miss. 93-mile-an-hour fastball. 2 away.
Remember that last... did you watch Aaron Judge? And then you talk about spinning a little bit. He actually challenged him there and got away with it. Just kind of pitching backwards, huh?
Exactly. I mean, you got to protect. You think about spin and four-seamer right on by.
Austin Wells takes a strike, so batting in the 3 spot in the order today.
Yeah, the last time we were talking about that event that Aaron Judge is captain of, it was Mike Trout who struck out against Ohtani, his teammate, to end that.
And I think the excitement of the last WBC caught the attention of the guys that didn't sign up to play. And I think they're going to get a lot more of the best players to take part. Although that was a pretty good team they put together.
Yeah.
Ended up losing to Japan in the final. And as Paul mentioned, Ohtani strikes out Trout for the final out of the game. 1-2. 2-2 on Wells.
I'm not sure if there's ever a scenario in the future to where you do it in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
WBC, it's sort of hockey style. All-star game, take a couple weeks.
Grounded to the third baseman, Garcia. Had him play beautifully. And Lugo retires the Yankees in order, 1-2-3. We'll go to the second here in the Bronx. Well, let's check out FanDuel's live. Some of the items on the docket tonight.
Well, A right there, he's due. Judge hasn't hit a home run in a while, so maybe tonight's the night to fulfill that.
Michael Garcia is going to lead off. Want to keep him off base. He had 37 stolen bases last year. And a strike.
And the important thing about that 37 stolen bases, Michael, he only had 39 attempts. He was only thrown out twice all year.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's like you in your last season.
Yeah, well.
Well, you're like 20 for 21?
I don't know. I think my cane broke on the last one. I got thrown out.
One and two. Now, Garcia had a little dust-up in Game 4 of last year's ALDS. Jazz Chisholm Jr. took issue with his slide into Anthony Volpe. Bench is empty. There wasn't a real fight, though. Grisham hardly had to move. And here's what we're talking about. Jackson, I just felt like he tried to go and injure Volpe because he was being a sore loser. There's Biggio, and a strike.
That was just a little conference out there. In the old days, though, the Yankees and the Royals, they went out there for business. You know that?
Throwing haymakers.
Yes.
I mean, we showed it so many times on Yes, but you can never get tired of George Brett just sliding into third and just throwing haymakers at Greg Nettles, and then nobody gets thrown out of the game.
Yeah.
Just everything's fine. 5 minutes later.
You know, in that fight, in there's a documentary about George Brett, he told a story that he was on the bottom of the pile and on top of him was Thurman Munson. And Munson said, "It's me, George. I'm not going to let anybody cheap shot you."
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a great story. A great story about Thurman. Tells you a lot about Thurman Munson. And I got to have that one.
2-2.
You think
3 and 2.
The framing of pitches, and you saw how much Wells moved that. You think that can affect you in a bad way?
Yes, absolutely.
Swing and a miss. Got him on the slider. Well, just to keep our streak alive, we want to show you that fight again.
See a little kick? Nettles kicked him. Gave him a little kick. Here comes the kick. Watch the kick. Yeah, hey, bam. Right back at you. Gator right in there, too.
You know the old-time highlights when they don't even fill up the whole screen? You know, the sides are black. You mean that's from the old days?
I once asked Nettles about the kick, and he said, "You ever walk in the backyard and you step in what your dog left?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You kick it off. That's what you do." There was no love lost between those two.
To this day.
Yeah. Nettles holds grudges. There's the
So
kick.
does George. George Brett hates the Yankees to this day.
Ground ball to Chisholm. Gets Waters. And the Royals go down in order as we go to the bottom of the second. I'll stream every Out of Market Network 24/7 for the entire season. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Paul Goldschmidt will lead off the bottom of the second inning. Against Seth Lugo, he has 7 hits and 11 at-bats, 2 of the 7 home runs. There's a strike. Got off to a great start, hitting .357. Slow breaking pitch, 0-2. Ground ball right side. Massey from the outfield grass. Fires. Not in time. Goldschmidt beat it out.
Smells it.
Well, you put the ball in play, you never know. This Massey went deep and just, kind of took his time knowing the Goldschmidt was running, but then all of a sudden couldn't make it up.
Right about here, you start to smell it, right?
Yeah.
You know, you got it. Get it.
Man, you're just fighting those legs to run faster.
That's all he's got.
Oh, good. Right to the front of the bag, too.
Yeah, it makes such a difference. I mentioned that the other day that, ideally you want to hit the front of the bag. And this is one of those little tiny things that you're taught in Little League, but people have kind of forgotten about. Always try to hit the front part of the bag. It takes away time.
Jazz Chisholm Jr. jumps on the first pitch and lofts it to center field. Isbell is there to make the play. And that brings up Anthony Volpe. He really stepped up in the postseason for the Yankees last year. In the ALDS against Kansas City, he reached in 7 of his 16 plate appearances, .438 on-base percentage. 1-0. Yankees have to get right. They've lost 5 of their last 7. They've lost 4 of their last 5 series. And last 7 games, they haven't really hit much. Fly ball right field, backing up Biggio. He takes a tiny leap to bring it in. 2 down.
Boy, both pitchers on both sides pretty efficient, going after people. Balls have been hit hard, but plays have been made defensively.
Here's Jason Dominguez hitting .239 overall, but in his at-bats against righty pitching, he's 10 for 26. That's .385. Cooking up something special with Hexclad. Join the hybrid revolution at hexclad.com. So he has 3 doubles against righties, a home run, on-base percentage of .407. And you can see against lefties, it's a different story, and he is a switch hitter. But the Yankees think that side will come around. .3-0 on Dominguez.
Coney, looking back, when you were playing in Kansas City, Kansas City's been on a run with football. So it's become kind of a football town. But back then, it was a baseball town, right? To begin with, right?
Yeah, it was, and certainly in the late 70s and leading up to their World Series championship in 1985. Mm-hmm. Yes, it was. Chiefs had some dark years in there before a kid named Mahomes showed up.
Goldschmidt at first, held there by Pasquantino. And a walk to Dominguez. First and second. 2 outs for Grisham.
That's what Dominguez does well from the left side. He controls the zone much better and takes his walks.
Yeah, especially early in the count. Every once in a while, he'll swing over the top, that ball down and in, as most young people do when they start to panic with 2 strikes. But you're right, he does. He swings at strikes for the most part.
So here's Grisham playing center field tonight. Kind of jumps out at you, Meredith, that Bellinger, a lefty batter, is not in there. What's up?
Michael, you wondered if there was something wrong with his back, and while Aaron Boone said he's still receiving treatment, he is okay. They're just in this stretch of 13 games in a row, and Aaron Boone saying that he wants to kind of pick and choose his battles with Bellinger here early in the season. Doesn't want to push him too hard during this stretch, wants to make sure he is healthy for the duration. So you see him right there. He is available off the bench. He is okay and is expected to be back in there tomorrow.
1-1 on Grisham. He also wants to get Grisham in as much as he can. Grisham has certainly hit well with 3 home runs and 9 ribbies, hitting .344.
That's the salient point right there. You want to see this guy swing the bat right now, the way he's going.
Yeah, we were talking that he had a good spring training, and as a not an everyday player, that's the best time to get your opportunity, coming right out of spring training where you're still fresh and playing a lot.
Isbell is there to put it away, and the Yankees strand 2. We're going to the 3rd here at the stadium. 0-0. It's time for Pinstripe Pride, brought to you by Toyota, the official Yankees. Tonight's picture is of the Yanata family, who were at the game yesterday, plus their grandpa is watching from home. Hey, Gramps. Hope you're enjoying the game. Use the hashtag Toyota Pinside Pride and mention yes in pictures you post to social media to reflect your love for the Bronx Bombers. We might spotlight you in a future game. Kyle Isbell leads off. Jumps on the first pitch and skies it foul. David, I like the powder blues. I don't like the helmet.
You don't like the helmet?
That's a softball field.
It's almost like the way back Atlanta Braves helmets.
True, and the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
And my buddy Carl Ravitch sent me a picture of the Orioles used to have that too.
Yeah. The baby blues, I think it's their best uniform, but I don't know. I like that KC.
So you're not a trucker hat kind of a guy?
I didn't say that. Big Von Dutch.
Von Dutch. Wow, there's a name for the past.
It's back again.
Is that right? A little retro?
Everything old is new again, Paul.
Oh, we're real new then, aren't we?
Well, you don't throw your ties away. So they come back in style.
Swing and a miss. On the change, Isbell down on strikes. Third strikeout for Carrasco.
You can see the split grip. And that's the thing about Carrasco. When he's right, he can get swings and misses. So we talk about him having to have command and be control guy. He's getting he's missing some bats tonight so far. That's a really good sign.
Here was India. So India last year for the Reds doubled in 8 straight games. That one's hit sharply, knocked down by Cabrera. He recovers, fires, got him. And he broke a record that Paul O'Neill tied in 1990 with doubles in 6 straight.
Wow. I tell you what, you don't have much time as a third baseman. And the key to getting a good hop is either come back on it or go forward. And Cabrera elected, even with that little of reaction time, to move back and be able to knock that ball down and get an out.
There's Bobby Witt Jr.
That's one thing Cabrera's always had is a good, strong, accurate arm. He can throw. That's why he can play all over the field.
Witt popped a Goldschmidt in the first, right around the pitcher's mound.
You can't pick a better situation to have Witt coming to the plate, right? With 2 outs, then you're throwing well. If you do get behind, you don't give in.
One and two.
It's the 8th swing and miss so far for Carlos Carrasco on the night. 19 times they swung the bat, 8 times they missed.
It's been off-speed stuff too, with that split finger and then the changeup.
Two and two. So Judge won the MVP last year. He was first on every single ballot. And second on every single ballot was Bobby Witt Jr. Any other year, Bobby Witt wins the MVP, but Judge was so extraordinary last year. 2-2. Fouled away. And Judge thinks Witt is, quote, the complete player, can hit, run, field, do everything. He was already a great player last year, but he continues to improve every single game I watch him. The 2-2.
Yeah, power, speed, intangibles off the chart. That's a hard thing to quantify. Makeup, what kind of a guy is he in the club? He's great. He's a great guy. Great leader, great character guy, plays every day, plays hard.
And don't think it's checking a box when you grew up around baseball. His father obviously a pitcher in the major leagues for a long time, and that's what scouts know, that kind of stuff.
Here are the numbers between those two. Judge with the big lead in home runs and ribbies, OPS and WAR. 3-2. Judge played center last year. Obviously, Witt at an extremely important position, shortstop. And the pitch. Battling against Carrasco.
Well, you've seen change-ups, you've seen four-seamers, you've seen two-seamers, all fouled off, which to me tells me that Carrasco has pretty good movement on everything. 10th pitch coming in this at bat.
Driven deep to left field. Going back, Dominguez. Turning, looking, gone. See ya. Home run for Witt. It's 1-0 Royals.
Well, he went to another pitch. I think he felt like he had to try to get him off of his fastball and his changeup. He went to a slider, and it wasn't his best. Like you say, up with 2 outs, you don't give in, but you don't hang a slider either.
Well, what an at-bat. He threw him everything he had, as you said, Paul. That slider just didn't get to the outside corner. That's what you call taking a seat. Pulled up a chair. A slider that pulls up a chair means it stops breaking. It just takes a seat right in the middle of the plate.
You see how level his bat is going through the baseball. When you saw that in slow motion, I mean, he doesn't really have an uppercut. Just his bat stays in the zone so long. Watch. As soon as he drops into it, watch that bat. It just continues to go basically on the same plane. And that's why he had a batting title last year, also with those home runs.
Just 24 years old. His dad pitched 16 seasons in the big leagues.
Get his whole body into that, right? Just his whole body. Legs.
He is in the second season of an 11-year, $288.7 million extension. Biggest contract in Royals franchise history. But he's got an out after year 7, so that is going to go up a lot. Plus, there's a team option at the end that could turn it into a 14-year deal. So a commitment by the Royals to keep a great player. High fly ball. Right field off the bat of Pasquantino. Into the corner is Judge. And he makes the play. Judge uses up all of the ballpark. But Witt's home run has put the Royals up by a score of 1-0. The Yankees Delta, the official airline of the New York Yankees. Delta, keep climbing. Well, Seth Lugo has a 1-0 lead on the Witt home run. The Yankees will send 9-1-2 in the order up against the veteran right-hander. And a strike to Cabrera.
Here, speaking of airlines and flights, Michael, how'd you sleep last night, Michael? Okay?
Not too bad. Why?
Too bad. I slept like a baby. How about you, Coney? Have a good night's sleep last night?
I got no sleep. Zero.
Folks didn't know. Cody was in Los Angeles last night. It was so important for you to get here for this series. That's impressive.
Yeah, they say, you can sleep on a plane. No.
Doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
Up the middle and through for a base hit for Cabrera. Second hit by the Yanks.
I always love that approach. Hit the ball up the middle. It doesn't work as much this day and age with the shifts going on up the middle, but still, good solid swing. Kind of pulls his hands in to get the barrel to the ball, but right up the middle, doesn't come off of it. Now that you've got a dry track out there, we played in a lot of bad weather. You'd love to see some of the speed on this Yankees, start to take effect and start attempting some stolen bases. Had to drive you crazy as a pitcher, though. Teams that ran. I mean, it's just another thing to worry about.
Absolutely. Any distraction you can make for a pitcher is a plus. Even just the threat of it. You're out there on the mound, you're thinking, man, okay, I got to quicken up my delivery a little bit. I have to do something different.
1-2 on Rice.
I think we're just catching up, too. You know, the rules changes were a couple years ago with regard to the running game, stolen bases, bigger bases, trying to initiate more running. And teams are drafting now more athletic players and starting to field more athletic players on the rosters. Prime example of that is Chicago Cubs we saw last night in L.A. What a team defense, team base running, really built around those two concepts. It's the theory of the Royals for all those years when they were winning. In big Royal Stadium in the AstroTurf. And guys like Willie Wilson manning center field.
Yeah, you remember the Cardinals back when, I mean, they built their whole team to play at Busch Stadium and that big AstroTurf, the speed that team had. Vince Coleman, Willie McGee.
Let's see if they turn two. There's one. And there's two. 4-6-3 double play off the bat of Rice.
That's why I always hated to see leadoff hitters get on that can run and never attempt a stolen base, because you don't know what would have happened, but you know after a double play what did happen, you know?
Yeah, Lugo broke out that good curveball down to get the ground ball.
Nice split by Pasquantino. Here's Judge. Struck out in the first. Breaking ball outside. 1-0.
Look like one of your stretching routines, Michael?
Oh, yeah.
You hit the treadmill?
Every day. Yep.
Yeah.
Got to be flexible.
Yeah. Coney, I get in that position right there, I wouldn't get up. That'd be it.
What do they call that? Bikram yoga? The hot yoga?
Yeah.
See Michael in there doing Bikram yoga.
One and one on Judge. Now he's got his own pitch com that he's calling the pitches. It must be like the old calculators that have 10 pitches there, right?
There it is, right there.
Yeah, I was noticing him reaching over there.
Ground ball up the middle. It's through for base hit for Judge.
I talked about this the other day, Coney. It's one of the analytics I really believe in is the exit velocity, because you see a lot of ground balls don't get through the infield. Ground balls from Aaron Judge sometimes do. And that was over 100 miles an hour up the middle. No chance.
Especially on the ground. Either hit it really soft or really hard,
Yeah.
right? You see Aaron Judge on top of that ball, but yes, exit velocity matters. It's proven. Harder you hit the ball, the higher your batting average is going to be, a higher probability.
Wow, you talk about a ball you miss as a hitter. This one you just, oh, you love it. It's kind of a hanging curveball, inner half.
He goes around, tried to check his swing, but Junior Valentine said it's 0-2.
Look on his face tells you what he thinks.
I gotta agree with him. I don't think that's a swing, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, you know, even by my standards, and I'm biased, I think if the bat gets in front of home plate, you know, you break the plane, I think that should probably be a swing.
Wells 9 for 23 in a short sample size against Kansas City. High fly ball, right field. Biggio back on the track will make the play for the final out. No runs, 2 hits, and 1 man left. We played 3. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Optimum Fiber. Get Optimum, the fastest fiber internet. Don't take slow for an answer. By your local Kia dealers, visit kia.com to discover movement that inspires. And by the New York Lottery, get out there and play. Multi-sport athletes right there, Dion and Bo.
A little different body style, huh?
Just a bit.
You were quoted one time, you called Bo Jackson Zeus.
Yes, exactly.
That one is ripped to left field off the bat of Perez. Backing up is Dominguez, and he makes the play. Took an extra base hit away from the Royals catcher.
Well, these are the plays that he's going to have in his mind to gain a little confidence. I mean, he heard so much about his defensive ability and left. He didn't have enough. With his speed and his athleticism, he could be a good outfielder. That's a great play by Dominguez.
confidence builder, right, defensively?
This is purple glove and all. Carrasco loves it. Well, I've ever seen a purple glove. Huh? Dominguez is sporting one tonight.
Two on Massey.
More lavender, I think, the color.
Yeah.
Lavenderish.
I think it's made by that tennis racket company. Prince.
Prince? Got the Prince Purple Rain? It's not raining tonight. You're way over my head right now. You did get a good night's sleep.
1 out of 4. Fly ball shallow left. Coming on Dominguez. 2 outs.
Well, Dominguez has got an opportunity to tie a record. Catch all 3 balls. He's 2 for 2 here. It's been tied a lot, though, in the history of the game.
It's a record, though. It is.
Here's Garcia. And a strike.
I remember running in the dugout in old Fulton County Stadium. And Tommy Helms, who just passed away recently, he was a manager for a while, said, "You just tied a record." And I'm like, "Well, I did. I'm still young." He said, "Yeah, you caught all 3 balls. Can't be beat." I'm like, "Wow, you're correct."
Tommy Helms, baseball guy.
Mm-hmm.
The 1-1. No record. Grounded to Cabrera. And a 1-2-3 inning. As the Royals go down in order, we go to the bottom of the 4th. Part of the maturation process is just getting confidence, and you can see the Yankees greeted Dominguez in the dugout. They know that's a notch that he can hang his hat on. That was a nice play, and maybe it leads to another nice play.
Absolutely. You remember the last time we did a game, it was a while ago, Michael, that he made a good play. He ended up hitting his first home run that game. It's just certain things in this game can build confidence, and you don't worry about your defense, and all of a sudden your offense takes off.
Goldschmidt leads off. If you just joined us, here's the catch we're talking about. (1-0) to Goldschmidt. 2-0. Royals lead 1-0 on the Witt home run. Goldschmidt with an infield single to the right side. That came in the 2nd inning. Average at 368. 3-0. And a strike. As a veteran, Paul, did you always have the green light, or did you have to get the green light?
To steal a base?
No, to swing 3-0.
Oh, yeah. We used to get a sign. Joe Torre would always give a sign. Most of the time, he put you on your own, unless, you needed a base runner, you weren't swinging the bat well. Yeah, but we always looked for the take sign or the not. And it wasn't, that was the most obvious sign in the world. You would point at the field or point to the dugout. I mean, and both sides know exactly what it is.
As Goldschmidt down on strikes. Why would they do that? Then the guy could just lay one in.
Well, I mean, he's trying to throw a strike anyway. I don't know if the pitcher, but it was the most obvious sign in the world. A good changeup kind of turns it over right there.
So you guys should have had the okey doke.
Yeah.
Where say, okay, this inning when we point, it's a green light.
They did. Actually, they did. Really? Some teams use that, yes.
Chisholm takes a strike. Chisholm broke an 0 for 24 yesterday with a home run. His 5th homer of the year. He skied to center. That was in the 2nd. High fly ball. Right center field. Isbell on the run, on the track, at the wall, leaps. See ya! A home run for Chisholm. Game tied at 1.
Watch for the Euro step, Coney. It's coming. Don't go for it. Jazz Chisholm's 6th home run of the year. That's one thing I didn't realize when he came over here. I mean, he's not the biggest of guys, but he has a ton of power.
Got about 10 pounds of clothes he lost over the last couple of games.
Pitch to Volpe. 1-0.
And guys, he was actually out on the field about 2:30 this afternoon getting some early work in with James Rowson one-on-one. I asked Rowson if he was working on anything in particular, and he said Jazz just likes to get out there to watch the ball fly sometimes. He was focusing mainly on low-line drives with backspin to all fields. He felt like he was really getting somewhere there, and then he added that home run last night. That's a hit that could really get somebody like Jazz Chisholm going, because with him, sometimes it's just one swing, and you see he's going.
I'll tell you what, Meredith, every home run, Pat Rossler pays for it.
Takes a beat.
Pretty much tackled Pat Rossler, the assistant hitting coach.
And Paul, I love you mentioned the Euro step. There's actually a giveaway coming up on May 2nd, the Jazz Chisholm Jr. basketball jersey that was in the locker of every Yankee the other day. Some of them are wearing it for early work. Some of it are wearing it during BP. He's all pumped up about it.
Is that number 6?
Yeah.
From Jazz?
Poor Pat.
Wow. I could have swore, Michael, when I saw him in the dugout say it's not cold anymore, because, you know, we were talking about it. I mean, Jazz Chisholm grew up in the Bahamas. It doesn't like cold weather, so you get a fairly warm night and you go deep.
Popped up. Past Quintino in foul territory.
Again, it's all about location. That ball's up. It's supposed to be out of the outside corner. It's just up kind of middle. Just for a nice level swing to go deep on.
Some wristages. Right? Some buggy whip in that swing.
Here's Dominguez.
Right, the swing with the most buggy whip, Darryl Strawberry, maybe?
Yeah. Gary Sheffield had quick hands.
Sheffield.
Joe Torre used to tell me that Hank Aaron had the strongest hands he's ever seen. You know, just being able to flip the bat. There's really nothing you can, you know, it's just the way you swing, the way you're built. Some people have quick hands.
Pat Rossler, the receiving end of bites and grabs, and that was yesterday.
He's biting hard, too.
And then there.
Rossler's afraid to look over there. He might take a beating, too.
Swing and a miss. Dominguez down on strikes. But the Yankees tie the score as Jazz Chisholm goes yard into the Yankee bullpen. His 6th home run of the year. 1-1. Time for today's injury report, brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Luis Gil could begin throwing program Wednesday or Thursday. Currently on the 60-day IL, a right lat strain. That would be big, but it's going to take essentially a full spring training for him to build back up. So you're looking, once he starts throwing, to 6 to 7 weeks before he gets back.
You're really thinking second half of the year, really.
Count 2-0 on Biggio, leading off here in the 5th against Carrasco.
I think you're looking at one piece at a time, and then Clark Schmidt will be good to see him on the mound on Wednesday.
You know, the guy I'm looking for is Loaiziga.
Yeah.
Really help that bullpen. They need another power arm down there.
High pop-up, shallow left. Here comes Dominguez. Makes the play. 4 putouts tonight for Jason Dominguez.
When you look around the league at most bullpens, really good bullpens, they have high octane. The Yankees could use another high-octane arm down there in the bully.
Yeah, he had a on-field batting practice the other day, and poor DJ LeMahieu, who hadn't played in a long time, was the hitter. So you get a full scouting report from him. But you remember when Loizaga was healthy. I mean, he was top 2 or 3 arms in all of baseball with the bullpen.
0-2 on Drew Waters. Tipped into the glove of Wells. Well, they say it hit the ground. And now Wells tags Waters, and Waters is out. It wasn't a tip. It was just in the dirt.
Well, he tried to play it off, but Wells tagged him out.
The Royals are thinking, well, if it's a tip and it hit the dirt, then he's alive. So Waters stood there as if it was a tip.
You'd have to use a challenge there if you're on the Royals side. There's no way the other umpires could have seen that.
Here's Kyle Isbell. And a strike. Carrasco's allowed 1 hit, and that was the Bobby Witt home run.
13 for 18 in first pitch strikes. It's a good formula.
That's a good formula, too. You throw it a back door, and it doesn't hit the back, and you get a call. That works.
I used to get that call all the time in 1992.
You don't have to tell me. That's a tough one to hit, Coney.
It is. Never got there.
Popped up behind the plate and out of play. Isbell tried out a torpedo bat Friday. Liked it, and he's going to add it to his array of bats. He said, I tend to swing a more end-heavy bat against sinker guys, and then with ride-cut guys, more like a balance model, so I just was curious to try.
Makes sense.
I believe that could be a torpedo. Is it? Nope.
No, that's a regular bat.
Yeah, that's regular.
He wants the top heavy because Carrasco's a sinker baller, off-speed stuff. If your story's correct, that is, Michael.
Oh, it's correct. 1-2.
Well, if you're facing Mariano Rivera, you want the barrel down by your thumbs, right?
You just put a load of wood right by your hands if you're left-handed.
Popped up on the left side. Long run for Dominguez. Gets there and makes the play in foul territory. And the Royals go down in order. We're halfway through. It's 1-1. Time for the Audi Electric Moment. Experience a fully electric Audi vehicle at your local Tri-State Audi dealer today. 1990, Bo Jackson goes yard 3 times here at the stadium. How about that? Halfway up the bleachers, the other way.
Yeah, he was something. Wow.
And this is the one that probably bugged him the most as Dion got an inside the park home run. I think he got hurt on that play as well.
It was as if, Zeus was up on the mountain and said, hey, I'm going to go down there and play some baseball. I'm going to jump in Bo Jackson's body.
Audi scoreboard 1-1 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. It'll be 8-9 and 1 in the Yankees order. Grisham, Cabrera, and Rice. And a push bunt rolls foul. David, there seems to be a little bit of a trend in baseball. Let's turn relievers into starters. We'll get a much more inexpensive starter. And you see what Michael King's doing in San Diego. The Yankees are the ones that turned him into a starter. We saw with Jordan Hicks over the weekend for the Giants. We've seen what the Mets are doing with Clay Holmes. Can it work with a lot of relievers, or it has to be a special pitch selection?
That has to be the type of guy who has the repertoire to do it. And Seth Lugo's always had the repertoire, and he's always wanted to do it. And he was right. He's now 35 years old, and there was a lot of wasted years in the bullpen where he could have been an elite starter, and he's proven that to be the case. And
Clay Holmes remains to be seen, but I think it does work for Clay Holmes eventually if he can last, you know, if he can get built up and not get hurt. But a lot of times with Clay Holmes, when he came in, his ball was moving so much in the 9th inning, that's when he got in trouble. He couldn't get the ball over. Yankee fans know, they've seen it. He was either lights out, it was kind of all or nothing, or he couldn't control the movement. But as a starter, you get a better chance. The more you throw, the more you get the rough edges worn off, the better your control can be for a guy like Clay Holmes. And certainly that's been the case with Seth Lugo.
You know, to me, it takes talent, too. You talk about he's got 10 pitches now. To be able to trust all those pitches in certain situations, I mean, that's a lot to sort out mentally, too. Huh?
It is. You know, I still think it's about 4 pitches. There's variations of those 4 pitches that merge into sort of 10. But it's still kind of a basic 4.
3-2 on Grisham.
I mean, slurve, slider, sweeper.
Yeah.
That's really one pitch.
Yeah, as a hitter, you're right. That's you're picking up the spin. One might be a little bigger, one might be a little softer, but it's still basically the same pitch.
High drive, right field. Turning and looking is Biggio. See ya. A long home run for Grisham. His 4th of the year. And the Yankees lead 2-1.
Well, I tell you what, if you're Aaron Boone, you just play this hot streak because he is so good defensively. You get any kind of offense from him, and he is such a plus for the Yankees. Another great swing and a bomb from Grisham.
He is much more aggressive this year.
Yeah.
So many times last year we saw him take a pitch. Never hardly swing at the first pitch. He's turning it loose so far this year.
Fastball. Fastball going deep.
Confidence and aggressiveness go hand in hand.
Carrasco over there loves it. He might be finished for the night. You know,
1-1.
Still don't know how. If you look, his thumb is like along the barrel of the bat. He does not tuck his thumb. I don't know how you release the bat, but Grisham's figured out a way.
High fly ball left field. Waters toward the line. Ball comes back and he stays with it to make the play.
I see that thumb underneath it goes right along the barrel, and I see it just kind of guides it, but it's not tucked, and it's amazing to me.
The bottom hand you're talking about?
How he is able to release the bat with that.
Generating some bat speed.
Yeah.
He's also the rare hitter that does not use batting gloves.
See the top thumb there, and it's straight up the barrel. It's just not what I'm accustomed to seeing or feeling as a hitter.
Starts out that way. Does it end that way? Does he kind of shift it? Or
possibly, because I think Stanton does somewhat the same thing.
High fly ball, right field, Biggio back. See ya! Home run for Rice. And the Yankees lead 3-1.
Welcome back to Yankee Stadium, Coney. Ben Rice, he's been on fire. His 5th home run of the year. Likes that leadoff spot.
Moonshot.
Fifth home run of the year. Now has 7 ribbies and a big smile.
He doesn't have much of a poker face, does he?
No. No. You know he's holding aces.
Did you hear Michael? He had about 3 seconds to load up.
Yeah.
That was Ray Guy all the way.
3 home runs tonight. The Yankees had 3 home runs in the previous 7 games.
Up in the strike zone in, and this is the pitch that used to give him a little trouble. The ball up and in. And that open stance, he's getting to it much easier. Hips just open, drop the barrel to the ball, and enjoy the ride.
0-2 1-2 on Judge.
How soon do you know it off the bat?
I would say 95% of the time right there. As soon as you make contact, you know it's gone. There's a few that, you know, your heart starts beating going down to first baseline and it goes to the wall or just gets in the front row. But most of the time, right off the bat, you get that good feeling.
The 1-2. Did he go? Yes, he did. They'll get an angle, make the throw to first. So strikeout, put out 2-3.
It looks like he tried to cut that ball in, but it just kind of hung right there. And it just gave him an opportunity to get the barrel to the ball.
Here's Austin Wells. Drilled deep to right field. Fair or foul? Fair ball. Another home run. 3 in the inning. Yankees pouring it on. And it's 4-1 Bombers.
And that was a loud line drive there. Austin Wells, his third of the year. Michael, you had to be quick on that one. That was a line drive.
The only question was fair or foul.
Goldschmidt pops it up. Pasquantino makes the play. In his career, Lugo had allowed 2 home runs to the Yankees in 40 1/3 innings. In this inning alone, Grisham goes yard. Rice goes yard. And then for good measure, Wells goes yard. 4 home runs against Lugo, and the Yankees lead 4-1.
Everybody, Bob Lorenz with your Audi update. Braves and Blue Jays top of the third. That's Austin Riley. 2-run shot out to left center. And then he'd do it again in the top of the 5th for another home run, his 7th career multi-home run game. Braves came into the night 2nd fewest runs in the majors. They put up 8 on the Jays, who've been no-hit through 5 by Grant Holmes. Guys.
Thank you, Bob. Michael King, we talked about his great start yesterday. First shutout out of his career. Hunter Green, 18 2/3 scoreless innings for the Reds. And Garrett Crochet took a no-hitter in the 8th inning in his first game against the White Sox since the trade to the Red Sox. New pitcher for the Yanks, Fernando Cruz. As we start the 6th inning on the Montefiore scoreboard, it is 4-1 Yankees. 4 solo home runs against Seth Lugo. You see the numbers against Cruz. Pretty nice outing for Carrasco. Just gave up the 1 hit, the Bobby Witt home run after a long at bat. 1-1. Now Lugo, who's given up all 4 home runs, had a 0.69 home run per 9 innings since last season, 3rd best in the American League. And he gives up 4 in this game. Cruz wants to get you into a count where he can put you away with that splitter. He's not in that count now. 3-1.
2 Cincinnati boys here. They know each other. India just coming over from the Reds.
Drilled to left field. Going back, Dominguez on the run, and he makes the play. A little leather and grace in this game for Jason Dominguez.
Wow. Pulling up old song titles here. You know what, though? Dominguez is off to a great start defensively. And you know what? That first catch, don't think it doesn't kind of bleed into the other plays? Confidence is everything with that purple glove.
Much more under control. Talk about confidence offensively. There's confidence on defense as well.
Strike to Witt. With the only damage against Carrasco, 2nd home run of the year. Only the Royals' 9th home run of the season.
Yeah, Fernando Cruz has got a real swing and miss forkball. I mean, it's one of the better ones out there. The question is just can you throw it for a strike or can you get your fastball over enough to protect that great forkball? You know, we call it a splitter, but I think because of the spin rate, he's really got a wide split with his fingers. So it's more in the forkball category.
Yeah, 2 outings ago, he had the ability to throw it for strikes, and in slow motion, you could see almost the knuckling effect where, you had the true split finger, a lot of spin to it sideways, where that ball actually kind of just knuckles and forks straight down.
Swing and a miss. There it is. Witt down on strikes.
And David, you mentioned that splitter. I had a long conversation with Fernando Cruz earlier today, and he said as soon as he got to the Yankees, they told him throw that pitch as much as possible. He had a luxury this spring training that he has not had throughout the course of his career. They said just tinker with it, work on it, gain confidence in it, and make sure you feel good about it going into the season. He said he feels as though it's probably in the best spot that it's been. He feels good throwing it. And guys, he was a huge Yankees fan growing up in Puerto Rico. He used to watch the Yes Network all the time. And Michael, he told me that he thinks maybe he could out-see you. But he certainly doesn't want to hear you say see ya in this inning.
Well, he should have been on the mic last half inning.
That's right.
Could have proved it.
Big fan of you, Michael.
He's a very nice guy. Nice to hear. The 0-2. 1-2.
And that's a pitch you can back to back to back, especially ahead in the count.
Look at that stat. 1 for 17, 11 strikeouts on splitters this season. One, two. Did he go? No, said Junior Valentine.
Well, these are tough takes because that ball has a lot of movement down. I do agree with that.
On the super shot.
He went around. A strong inning for Cruz. He cruises through the Royals. Check out the T-Mobile coverage cam.
Because this was a good inning for the Yankees. Grisham starts it off with a bomb. That's number 1. Ben Rice wants to just keep it going as a leadoff hitter. That's number 2. And Austin Wells, why not? 3 in an inning, Michael. See ya.
Not too bad. And the coverage cam all over it.
It's a good formula when you hit more homers than you give up.
Yeah.
You got a good chance to win.
But you know what? You look at it feels like a blowout, right? But that's Seth Lugo. I mean, he had a horrible inning, but you look at the scoreboard, it's only 4-1. You're still in the game. A lot of pitchers, they give up home runs, you give up the 2 runs, the 3 runs, they add up quick.
Check out Leaders, brought to you by your local Tri-State Genesis retailer. 6 or more home runs and 4 or more stolen bases through 16 team games. Bobby Mercer and Jazz Chisholm. 2-2.
You love graphics with Bobby Mercer, don't you, Mike? To bring back just great memories.
Bobby was a pretty good player. Underrated, in my opinion.
Chopped slowly off the mound is Lugo. And he tried to tag Jazz, but then he flips it to Pasquantino.
We had another graphic the other day, and I was just thinking, talk about underrated. And Bobby, I agree. Bobby Mercer, Roy White.
Yes.
Unbelievable player. Just nicest of guys. But when you think what he did for the Yankees, great player.
He had a book out recently over the last year or so, Roy White. Highly recommend it. Great story, Roy White's personal story.
Grounded to third, Garcia gets Volpe. And that'll bring up Jason Dominguez. And we take a look at the All-State Good Hands replay.
Wow, this is the first one he made of the night, but he's made some good plays out there all night. Some running catches. This one he got a great jump on. Snagged it.
been a glove story for him tonight.
It's the way Roy White used to do it in left field, Jimmy. Yeah, this book, From Compton to the Bronx, Roy White's book.
Nice.
Came out a couple years ago. Good book. I highly recommend it.
Grounded to second. Quick bounce back inning for Lugo as he retires the Yankees in order on 3 ground balls. We'll take it to the 7th. Time to name that Yankee, brought to you by Prevagen, made for your brain. 279, 185 home runs, 2,109 hits, and 2 World Series titles on the 1988 Yankees, and on the Yankees from 74 to 79. I think I have this one. Ford scoreboard 4-1. Cruz in for a second inning of work in relief of Carrasco. Tim Hill up for the Yanks. 1-1 on Perez. An announced crowd of 42,648 here at the stadium in the Bronx tonight. Two and 1.
Sal Perez, 14th season, Coney. 7 All-Star games, 5 Gold Gloves, 5 Silver Sluggers, MVP of the World Series, and a World Series champ. That's Hall of Fame numbers, huh?
Absolutely.
Speaking of the Hall of Fame, he has 275 career home runs. You know who's tied with him for 9th place all-time among catchers? Jorge Posada, who didn't get nearly as much support as he should have.
I did see that in the notes. Yeah, it was, Jorge was a great hitter as a catcher, and he was such a big part of that team. But, sometimes you get overshadowed when you're playing with Mariano and you're playing with Jeter and guys like that. You just don't get your just due. Don't believe me. Jorge was a huge part of that team.
Swing and a miss. There's that splitter. Well, when he struck out Pasquantino in the 6th, that was the 6th strikeout of a Royal. But it started with Witt going down for strikeout number 5. Here's strikeout number 6. And then you want number 7? Sal Perez provides. 6 Yankee strikeouts brought to you by Audi and the 2025 Audi Q6. Visit your local Tri-State Audi dealer today.
Ooh, walk the dog on that last swing right there.
Wow, you could tell he's even looking for that pitch. And it just he had too good of a splitter tonight.
Cruz gets a nice hand. Yankees go to the pen. Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Nissan. At Nissan, we make cars that thrill. Experience the thrill for yourself today. Shop NissanUSA.com. By Bet365, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. And by Untuckit, find the perfect fit today at Untuckit.com or more than 80 stores worldwide. So Tim Hill comes on. He'll face Michael Massey. He fouls off the first pitch. Eighth game for Hill.
No fear from this guy. He's throwing what he's got over the plate. And that's the beauty of it. It's 84 miles an hour, but it's coming from Laredo. It's got a little funky movement on it, but it's really the attitude and conviction behind his pitching of, you know what? I'm getting the plate. I'm coming after you. You better be ready to hit.
Yeah, I mean, he gets so much movement. We had a graphic yesterday. I think he had 16 ground balls out of 16 contact. He trusts that sinker, that you're going to hit it in the ground. Oh, he's 17 for 17. Sorry. Make that 18.
And the flip to Hill. Another ground ball. Check out the bullpen budget brought to you by Citizens. Make sense of your money with Citizens. Lighter pitch yesterday along with Hamilton and Hill. So Hill threw 19 pitches. Yankees try to stay away from 3 games in 4 days, but that's what Hill's doing right here. He had 19 yesterday and 15 on Friday. Here's Michael Garcia. He just attacks the strike zone.
He looks so different in a Yankee uniform. You remember him with the Padres? He had the long hair.
Yeah.
Disheveled look. He looked like Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Nice. Good call.
0-2 on Garcia.
Fearless out there on the mound. This is what I got. I'm coming after you.
Fast times in the Bronx as he strikes out Garcia to end the 7th. Now the end is 6.5. It is time for the 7th inning stretch. The Yankees lead the Royals 4-1, but will stay right here as they honor America in the Bronx.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you rise and remove your caps? And please direct your attention to the area behind home plate as the New York Yankees welcome an honored military guest. United States Marine Corps Lance Corporal Andrew Baker from Norwalk, Connecticut, who served in Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. The Yankees say, thank you, Andrew, for your sacrifice and service to our nation. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join us in singing along with Robert Merrill's rendition of God Bless America.
It's time for your Ford Studio Update. Bob and Jack with you. Yanks doing what they do, powering up in the Bronx, but also getting what they needed from a starting pitcher tonight.
Yeah, Carrasco with 5 solid innings. I thought his changeup was a key pitch, but in terms of the Yankees powering up against Lugo, Bob, they had 4 lefty hitters go deep against him in an 8-batter sequence. Last year, he allowed 7 home runs to lefty batters all season long and more than 400 plate appearances.
We will take a look at those homers coming up on the postgame. Hear from Aaron Boone and more. See you then.
Thanks, guys. 4-1 Yanks. 7 hits for the Yanks. 4 of them home runs, all solo shots. 1-0 for Kansas City. The one hit was Bobby Witt's home run. Lugo pitched well other than the home run. Carlos Carrasco did very well. And the Yankees are up by 3 as we go to the bottom of the 7th on the Ford scoreboard. Double-barreled action. You have Daniel Lynch the 4th and John Schreiber. The Royals have 3 lefties in the bullpen. Grisham leads off. He started the 3 home run outbursts in the 5th inning against Lugo.
To Coney's point, too, he's coming in looking first pitch fastball and letting it go instead of trying to work to count. And it's working for him so far this year.
I could count on one hand how many times I saw him swing at the first pitch last year. It's just a much more confident hitter in the batter's box this year so far.
Line left field. Waters. 1 away. Support America's military and first responder heroes. Donate $11 a month to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation at T2T.org. Here's Cabrera. He's 1 for 2. Lugo in the second year of a $30 million free agent deal that he signed with the Royals. And David mentioned earlier he's wanting to be a starter forever. But the Mets felt he was so valuable to them in the bullpen that they didn't want to deal with trying to make him a starter. He was that good in the pen. But last year, he's made his first All-Star team, had 16 wins, a 3.0 ERA through a lot of innings, 206 2/3. And he finished second in the Cy Young the Scuba. Garcia fields. 2-away. Well, tomorrow, and yes, the Yankees and the Royals play the second game of this 3-game set here at the stadium. Coverage begins at 6 with Audi batting practice in the pregame. And first pitch is scheduled for 7:05 on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. And the batting practice show is a special all-access edition as Meredith Marakovitz hosts live from the field with player interviews and special features. Mare on the move. Where will she wind up? Hearing we might get an appearance by Captain America. And David Cohn might drop by. That's what I'm hearing.
Just rumors?
Yep. On Rice, homered in the 5th inning. 3-0. On deck is Judge. Will be Waka against Fried. Fried coming off that really, really good start against the Tigers. Coverage begins at 6 on Yes. Takes the 3-0 all the way, 3-1. From a changeup on 3-0.
Respect.
You know you got the green light up 4-1. You're not just going to lay one in there.
Curveball 3-2. And he works a walk. We'll see if they let Lugo face Judge. No. Now Quatraro, the manager of the Royals, is going to signal for the right-hander. So Lugo goes 6 2/3. Runner on first base, his responsibility. It's time for the answer to Name That Yankee. Here are the clues. And it was one of the great trades the Yankees made. The answer is Chris Chambliss. We all have seen the home run he hit in Game 5 of the ALCS in 1976, send the Yankees back to the World Series. But this man could play. Great left-handed hitter, power, hit for average, very good first baseman. He did it all and was a Yankee hitting coach as well.
Yeah, I worked with him a lot on the hitting coach. He was really old school. Didn't believe in like extra swings. It was more about, get loose and it's going to show up, things like that. But you know what? Some of his highlights, he was just kind of like Willie Randolph, just a good presence to have around, just had been through it all.
What a nice guy. Just a classy individual.
John Schreiber comes on. And Judge jumps on the first pitch and fouls it back. He won 2 titles with the Yanks. Walk-off home run in '76 against Mark Littell, All-Star that year. Finished 5th in the MVP voting. And in 885 games, those are good numbers. 0-2.
One of the great calls by Howard Cosell, too, on that home run.
Except it wasn't Howard's call.
Stomped all over.
It was total steppage on Keith Jackson.
And Chris Chambliss has just won the American League pennant.
We didn't even know what stepping on somebody was back then, Coney. We were just happy to watch a game, right?
Don't step on the see-yas. Get out of the way for the see-ya.
And the amazing thing about the steppage is that it just cleared the wall. And Howard jumped in. It's gone. But it worked out. Grounded foul. 1 on, 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Yankees up 4-1. 4 solo home runs. All the runs coming via the home run. A solo home run by Bobby Witt, the only hit by the Royals. And that is through for a base hit past the diving Witt. Rice will stop at second.
Again, another ground ball, another ball hit over 100 miles an hour. So, yes, it does matter how hard you hit the ball. But if you're Aaron Judge, you hit the ball hard a lot. Just out of the reach.
Get by that guy, too.
Yep.
One of the best shortstops in the game.
So here's Wells. Hit his 3rd home run. And the 3rd home run of the 5th inning. Trying for number 4 right there, 0-1.
Well, he had a good pitch to hack at right there. Cutter, middle of the plate. Didn't have much movement in at all.
Oh, we got some good audio on yes. I'm picking up some good grunting coming up the mound here, right?
You missed the last series. There was a couple of guys. We were bringing up Monica Seles of the old days. Every pitch.
1-2.
Oh, you know what? It was Robbie Ray.
Oh, he's a grunter.
Yeah, he screams every pitch. Change up, slider, it didn't matter.
Nolan Ryan used to grunt on changeups sometimes at the end of his career.
You know what? You didn't say anything about him, though. You just got your bat in and got to first base or went to the dugout.
Yeah. 2-2. Two on, 2-2 count. Now it's 3-2. So Rice and Judge will be going 3-2, 2 outs. Swing and a miss. Wells goes down on strikes. Rather than talk about it, why don't we listen to the call of Chambliss's historic home run?
Field for a run. Art Littell delivers high drive. Hits it right center field. That's gone. It is gone. Of that great Six Chambliss. What a season he has had. What a series he has had.
Well, with the strains of the stadium system, Luke Weaver comes into the game, his 6th game, 8 strikeouts and 6 2/3. His velocity is still not where it was toward the end of the year, but he's building into that, and he's still being effective with a fastball sitting around 92. So he'll pitch the 8th. And the pitch is high to Biggio. That's 94 on that one. So last year he averaged 95.7. This year you see what he's doing. But Boone said he started off last year the same way and built back up. And they kind of slow rolled it with him because he pitched so much and so many high leverage innings. He was closing for the Yankees at the end and during the postseason as well. So they didn't really push him during spring training to build up the velocity. But there doesn't seem to be concern. 2-2.
He's one guy, Coney. I want to know if you agree with that you really can't ever figure out his sequences. You know, a lot of guys you can go along with, you know, what they're trying to. He'll back up a fastball 3 times and then throw 3 changeups in a row from out of nowhere. It's very hard to guess along with him.
Yeah, he can pitch a little bit from his starters days.
You know, with the Yankee starters struggling other than Fried, I did ask Aaron Boone in spring training, you know, Luke Weaver's been a starter. Would you guys think about that? He said, nope, too important in the bullpen.
I don't think Luke Weaver's is as definitive with that answer, but he's certainly enjoying the success out of the pen.
Soft ground ball at Chisholm. And Weaver takes the throw to just get Biggio flying down the line.
That's a really tough play for Weaver because Goldschmidt left thinking he was going to have to get the ball, and then he was too late getting back. Thank goodness he got out of the way. Weaver was there. That's a tough play, huh, Coney?
Yeah, for Jazz, too. Where, you know, which one are you going to throw to? So Jazz had to wait a minute as well. You see Jazz like, hey, what's going on here? Pick a lane.
Here's Waters. Line to right field. Judge makes the play. Well, tonight, don't miss the premiere of a new Yes Network docuseries, The Stadium, and go behind the scenes to see the inner workings of one of the most iconic sports venues in the world. Watch the first episode immediately following tonight's Yankees coverage on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. From what I hear, great series. Got to tune in and check it out.
Anything with the name Gotham in it, you got me. Going back to Batman days.
You know, Gotham is, why is it always associated with New York? Is that just like a nickname, or can any city be Gotham?
I think that the Gotham in Batman was not supposed to specifically be New York. It's supposed to be a city of hulking buildings, dark and stuff like that. But it's used a lot with New York.
Right.
Two and one on Isbell. Now Ursig had joined Lynch the fourth.
You can tell which one's the righty and which one's the lefty just by their hat.
Yeah.
How they wear their hat.
Three and one.
See the righty, the hat straight? Look at the lefty. That's a lefty right there. His hat's crooked on the left. The guy on the right's the righty.
And there's a walk to Isbell. Yankees hockey jersey night is back for 2025. Come out to Yankee Stadium Friday, April 25th when the Yankees take on the Blue Jays. First 18,000 guests in attendance receive a Yankees hockey jersey courtesy of DKNY. Tickets are going fast, so get yours today at Yankees.com. Here's India. And a strike. India walked in the first, then grounded to third, and a fly ball to left. Royals still sitting on just one hit. (0-2) on India.
Weaver, you can tell by his body language, he didn't like that last pitch, a cutter. He left out up and right over the plate. And you see a lot of pitchers nowadays, they'll walk around the mound before they get the ball back to buy a few extra seconds on the clock.
I noticed that last year. I always wondered if he was mad or if he was just, trying to gain a couple extra seconds.
.95 on that one. So the count 1-2.
See him peek?
Yeah, he's peeking back. Wants to know where he is.
Yeah.
Stays alive. Yankees lead 4-1. We're in the eighth.
Coney, when you're peeking back there, and I know pitchers do it a lot, are you more fastball is the only thing that matters, or your split finger, your curveball, you knew where they should be?
Yeah, I think generally it's the top end velocity you're looking for, because your other secondary pitches will come along for the ride if you've got that good velocity.
The 1-2. Just missed the outside corner with the cutter. 2-2.
He can pitch a little bit. You know, he's got some weapons. So even if he doesn't have as good velocity, he's got other things to go to.
Yeah, and I haven't seen a change up in this count, and he's got a good one.
Down the left field line, foul.
Pretty good time for that changeup right here. After you pull a 95-mile-an-hour fastball foul, if you're reading the bat. Give India credit. Fouls it off, spoils it. That's what you call spoiling a good pitch. This guy's a pretty good little player.
Yeah, he was. He had some good years when he stayed away from injuries in Cincinnati. Watch out, camera. Watch out. Oh, no.
Popped up. There's Chisholm. Puts it away for the final out. No runs, no hits, no errors, one left. Time for the out the replay.
Wow, a lot of action in left field today. Dominguez has made all the plays. 6 in all. Just a good game for him defensively.
New pitcher for the Royals, Daniel Lynch IV. Has not allowed an earned run in 7 innings. 5th big league season, 28 years old. Faces Goldschmidt. Pitches high. Since last August 26th, after he returned with over 2 months in the minors, he had 27 2/3 scoreless innings. There's a strike. So the bullpen coach, Mike Stetter, has given Lynch a mantra to live by. Calls it donuts and punchies. He wants scoreless innings and strikeouts. Two and two.
Sounded like my diet on the game after I pitched.
Especially on the day game.
3-2. Still 3-2. Line drive down the left field line. It is a base hit. It goes to the wall. Playing it out there is Waters. Goldschmidt going for 2, and he's in there with a double.
He runs better than you think he does.
You know, that's an important hit. They want the ball, or are you disappointed? What do we got here?
Goldschmidt's not a celebratory guy. He's not going to do a little dance. He's old school. you know, the benches nowadays, they want some sort of acknowledgement.
Well, you've seen him go the other way a lot, but by going the other way, you can still pull on an off-speed pitch or a pitch that's made right. A good job by Chaz by taking a chance there. See, he gets the bat head out and just rifles it to left field, but a lot of times his approach is right center field. But, you know, he's been around the game too long and put up too many good numbers to not use the whole field.
Fly ball left field. Waters makes a catch tagging Goldschmidt, but he bluffs. So one down, and that brings up Volpe. Volpe 0 for 3 tonight. Swings at the first pitch and pops it up. Slams his bat down in disgust as Pasquantino makes the play. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Ford stores. Ford is proud to be the official SUV of the Yankees. And by Delta, the official airline of the New York Yankees. Delta, keep climbing. Cody Bellinger is going to pinch hit for Jason Dominguez. Trying to figure this out. I know Dominguez struggles from the right side, but you're sending up a lefty to face a lefty.
Hey, you figure that, you know, you're probably going to take him out for defense anyway, the way things have gone. So,
but we just showed all those defensive highlights.
Exactly. I wasn't going to say that. You know, give him the start of the game right now. Who knows? He made some good plays in left field. Meredith, we need some answers. Don't go anywhere, girl. You can ask Aaron Boone why we got a pinch hitter from the left side.
Now, we thought that they might be calling for the ball for Goldschmidt's double. That is his 451st double. And it tied you on the all-time list at 105. I don't think they call for the ball for that. No offense.
I can't even remember where mine was or what happened.
When you think about all the hitters, though, 105 is pretty good.
That's great.
Jim Thome?
Thome?
I don't know those other two guys.
Oh.
You're not familiar with the work of Jimmy Ryan.
Yeah, Jim Ryan ran the Olympics, the marathon.
Longtime television host in New York, too. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Bellinger pinch hits and strikes out. Yankees strand one. We go to the ninth. They're up by 3. Coming schedule brought to you by your local Tri-State Buick dealers tomorrow. Prime on Wednesday. Also Prime on Thursday as the Yankees begin a 7-game road trip. 4 at George M. Steinbrenner Field against the Rays. And then 3 in Cleveland against the Guardians. Thursday is a travel day to break the string of 13 straight. And then the Yankees are back home. So Bellinger takes over in left, and Devin Williams takes over on the mound. Try to close this out, save situation. First up, Bobby Witt Jr. Now, Paul, the game that we did against the Giants when he came in, he had runners on second and third in an eye blink. And Brad Ausmus saw something. He said something clicked in. He told Aaron Boone something just clicked in. And we saw how that airbender really started to click. Maybe it kicked in, and we'll see that from here on forward. And that's looped into right field. It's a base hit for Witt. So he has both Royals hits. Take a look at pitching decisions presented by Sage.
Well, it's the only hit you're going to see all night from Carrasco, but it was a long one by Bobby Witt Jr., who seems to get a lot of them.
Wow. You talk about down and through.
There's Pasquantino against Williams. There's that changeup. 0-1. Oh for 2 tonight with a walk. Foul ball. It's funny, we call it a changeup. He calls it a changeup. The nickname is the airbender, but the arm motion tells you it's a screwball.
Yeah, it's a screwgee. It's exactly what it is. The reason is because it has such tight spin. He's really spinning it, and that's the sort of the unique part about that particular pitch, because most pitchers who throw changeups are trying to take spin off of the baseball to get movement, whether it's a split finger grip or a circle change. He's really trying to spin it and turn it over and pronate. And to me, that's Fernando Valenzuela. It's a Scroogey.
Yeah, we saw his release last time out, Coney, and he's much under the baseball, much more than the true circle changeup where, you know, you kind of let it slide off your fingers.
1-2. Popped up on the change. Cabrera. 1 out. Well, fans, stay tuned after the final out for tonight's WB Nation Yankees postgame as Bob and Jack are going to have highlights and analysis. Of course, Meredith gets player interviews in the clubhouse, and we'll hear from Aaron Boone on the manager's report. That's all coming up next on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Here's Perez. He's 0 for 3 tonight. That one just misses. Inside. Williams has 1 save on the year. Pitched 4 1/3 innings. He's walked 5, struck out 7. The 2-0. Grounded foul.
Well, this is one guy, if you can keep it on the ground, you're going to go home happy. I mean, he is a double play waiting to happen, but he's also a guy that can hit it a long way if you make a mistake.
Witt's on first with 1 man out. We're in the 9th, 4-1 Yanks. Another check swing, 3-1.
Now, when he throws that pitch, it's almost just the opposite of a slider. If you think about it, you know, if a left-hander were throwing a slider, it would look like his pitch. Almost 2,700 RPMs on that last changeup, and that's just a unicorn of a pitch.
And there's ball 4, so that brings the tying run to the plate.
But unless you can throw strikes with it,
yeah,
this is what you're going to get. So no matter how good your stuff is, no matter how good you can spin the baseball, you got to have command. You got to be able to prove you can throw strikes, because then hitters will just stop swinging.
Mm-hmm.
1. First and second, 1 man out. We're in the 9th inning. Maxey's the tying run at the plate. Popped up, and that'll reach the seats out of play.
More seldom you see a hitter get jammed ahead in the count on a changeup. But sometimes you wait so long, you see it. You wait so long that you jam yourself.
One. Popped up. Infield fly rule called. Goldschmidt makes the play. 2 outs.
Good sequence right there. Go to the fastball off of that changeup that he got jammed on, and the four-seamer beat him there. So good 1-2 punch there. See the four-seam grip, going to come right in there, well located. You got him beat right off the changeup. A sequencing of pitches matters so much. You can have the best pitch in the world, but unless you sequence it right or protect it, it's not going to be as effective.
There's Michael Garcia, 0 for 3 tonight. High fly ball left field. Bellinger is there, and the Yankees win 4-1. 4 solo home runs. Great outing by Carrasco. The whole bullpen does its job. Williams nails down the save, and the Yankees win the first game of this 3-game set.
Well, the Royals came in. I mean, this is a big series, and it's a good way to get off on the right foot for the Yankees. Carrasco did a great job coming in as a starter. He had the big 3 home run inning. Big night for the Yankees.
Yeah, Carrasco's the story. You're going up against the Royals' best pitcher, who was second in the Cy Young voting last year, in Seth Lugo. He matched him and bested him and gave the Yankees a chance to do what they do, and that is play the Bronx Bombers.
To the tune of Chisholm, Grisham, Rice, and Wells all went yard, and that was the Yankee offense as they beat the Royals 4-1. More to come. We'll have some awards and then the postgame with Bob and Jack and Meredith. Time for the Cadillac drives of the game, David.
Morgan Grisham keeps on keeping on with this number 4 to break a 1-1 tie. And of course, Ben Rice is a monster in the batter's box nowadays. And then the third one of the inning, the 5th, Austin Wells. Number 3 on the year. Next thing you know, a 1-1 game became a 4-1 game.
And that's how it ended. It took 2 hours and 23 minutes. Carrasco pitched great. He gets the win. Devin Williams' his second save. Seth Lugo his second loss. Bobby Witt was the offense for the Royals. He got both hits. Carrasco won 5 innings. Yankees 4 home runs. They had 3 in the previous 7 games. Coming up on the Yes Network, stay tuned for the W.B. Mason postgame show with Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry. Special thanks to producer Troy Benjamin, director Dan Barr, Mike Webb, and the executive producer of the Yes Network is Jared Ames Boschnack. Join us again tomorrow as the Yankees continue this 3-game set against the Royals. Coverage begins at 6 on Yes, with first pitch coming shortly after 7. Again, the final score of the New York Yankees 4, the Kansas City Royals 1. For David Cohn, Paul O'Neill, and Meredith Morakovitz, I'm Michael Kay saying see ya from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Now let's go to Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry, who are standing by in our Yes Network studios with the post-game show.
Hey, everybody, it's great to have you with us on the W.B. Mason postgame. Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry with you. Yankees win the opener against the Royals in the Bronx. 4-1 is the final. 4 home runs, Jack. 5 much-needed strong innings from Carlos Carrasco. Let's get your Hyundai opening comment.
This is a tidy win. This is a feel-good win if you're the Yankees because of what you just referenced, Bob. Power and pitching. You put that combination together on any given night, and it's probably going to be a winning combination. The home runs will always get the headlines, and the Yankees had homers from 4 lefty hitters in Chisholm, Grisham, Rice, and Wells. They hit more homers off Lugo in an 8-batter sequence, half as many as he gave up all of last year to lefties, only 7. But, Bob, beneath the headline, don't sleep on what Carrasco did. Coming in, 5 strong innings. I thought he had a really good changeup, and other than one slider that Witt Jr. took out of the ballpark, he gave the Yankees the effort they needed.
On the pregame tonight, we talked about Carrasco needing to locate better. Walks had been a problem in the past. They were a little bit of a problem from the outset, though. He is the optimum player of the game. As we take a look at the first inning, and we see that, Jack, he did walk 2 in that first inning, but was able to get through it.
Yeah, first and second, 1 out. Perez is going to do him a favor here. That's actually a really nice changeup down in the zone, but Perez is a free swinger. He goes after it, top of the second, 1 out, full count to Biggio. He swings through a slider. Isbell leads off the third. He swings over that changeup for another strikeout. Here's the one we're talking about, 10-pitch at-bat. Witt Jr. fouled off 4 pitches with 2 strikes. Finally gets a slider as the Royals jump ahead 1-0. Carrasco hung in there, Bob, top of the 5th. He gets Waters to swing over that changeup. And if you told Aaron Boone before the game Carrasco would hold the Royals to 1 run and 1 hit across 5 innings, he would have shouted, "Sign me up."
Since 2016, he'd only done it 3 previous times. Just gets through the 5 with 79 pitches thrown. Boone was ready to go to the bullpen. Perfect timing. Great work by Carrasco, and I'll even give him a little bit of credit on that pitch to Bobby Witt Jr. that he hit out for the home run. 10-pitch at bat, and it wasn't the worst slider. It wasn't like, and I hate to use a pun here, a cookie over the middle of the plate.
No, it wasn't, and it was a great battle. You go 10 pitches against a batter, it's a feisty, ferocious battle. He finally tried to go one slider. Why do you go back to the slider? He got him out in the first inning on a slider. So he was thinking, let me go to this pitch at this point. But I thought Carrasco had the best stuff we've seen him have during the regular season. This was the kind of stuff he flashed during spring training, Bob, where he showed some swing and miss with the sinker, with the changeup. And that's what got the Yankees excited. And as much as you want your starters to go deep into games, this might be the version of Carrasco that the Yankees get this season. And for a back end of the rotation guy, that's all right. The Yankees have a strong bullpen. If you can get through 5 with Carrasco and have a lead or be in the game, that's a positive.
He got that lead in the 4th inning. Jazz Chisholm Jr. hitting a solo shot to make it 1-1 at that point. Let's hear from Jazz on the field with Meredith.
Jazz, you got the home run party started there in the 4th inning. What was the key against Lugo?
I mean, he throws a lot of strikes, so we just had to go out there and attack him the way he attacks us. He attacked us in the zone, so we were ready to swing.
What are you doing to poor Pat Rossler when you get back to the dugout? It seems like you're making him pay for every home run you hit.
I think we started it in spring training to where, like, you know, we're just having fun. One day I think I hit a homer, and then it was just like, he was like, that's what happens when you stay down. So I show my love by biting, so I just gave him a couple bites, you know.
In all seriousness, 2nd home run in as many days. Do you feel like something's clicked for you at the plate here?
The weather warmed up.
That helped a little bit, right? That 5th inning, 3 guys hit solo shots in that one. What's the excitement like in that dugout as that inning is unfolding?
I mean, it was exciting, man. You know, we're just happy to be out here with some good weather and playing baseball and having fun again, you know. It was hard the last couple days playing in the cold, but we're here, we're ready, and we're ready for it to warm up so we can warm up.
What do you think of the pitching staff as a whole tonight?
They did great.
1 run.
1 run, 2 hits, right? Yeah, that's sick. I had to check the scoreboard. But I remember it was like a 1-hit game going into the 9th. I forgot they got another hit. But no, man, they did fantastic tonight. And, you know, this is what we expect out of them every time they come out, is to be great, just how they want us to be great, you know. And us as a team, that's what we expect out of everybody.
Jazz, appreciate the time. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Send it back to you.
Thanks, Meredith. Jazz goes deep in the 4th for his 6th home run of the game. That made it 1-1. And then our turning point of the game, brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees, comes in that 5th inning, and it starts with Grisham leading off the inning.
Yeah, Bellinger not in the starting lineup, dealing with some back issues, and Grisham gets that fastball, and Bob, he destroys it, his 4th of the season. You saw him put his head down immediately. That ball traveled 384 feet.
2 batters later, Ben Rice, he loves that inside pitch and always somehow able to keep it on a straight line.
Yeah, continues to mash. Exit velo 104 for Rice. That has become standard operating procedure for him.
And then this is just a bullet off the bat of Austin Wells 2 batters later.
Yeah, first pitch fastball, and Lugo is saying, what hit me? In his previous 43 1/3 innings against the Yankees, he had allowed 2 home runs, and then the Yankees hit 4 in a span of 8 batters.
Cooking up something special, courtesy of Hexclad. 4 home runs tonight, all off Lugo. They had 3 in the previous 7 games. First 3 homer innings since March 29th. They're 6-1 when hitting 2 or more home runs, and they're 32 home runs, most through 16 games in franchise history. In comparison, the Royals right now have just 9. So power is their calling card, but what hit them? We always talk about a left-right combo. How about just 4 straight lefts, right?
And Judge did not go deep. A lot of times we're talking about home runs. Judge is right in the middle of it. He did hit a couple of base hits up the middle that he absolutely scorched. But I think this is what the Yankee offense can be, Bob. We talked about their last 7 games. They'd only scored 23 runs. They didn't have those consistent quality at-bats. And when you have a pitcher like Lugo, who has all of those pitches that he throws, 10 different pitches, although some of them are under the same umbrella, and you're going up there trying to figure out what he is doing against you, it ended up being those lefty hitters in the lineup who figured out Lugo. All solo shots, but more than enough, because the Yankees as a whole only gave up 2 hits to Kansas City, and one of them came in the 9th inning.
And Jack, one of the subplots to tonight's game, and all season long, you've talked about giving Jason Dominguez his reps. That means not only at bats, but innings and time in left field. And we actually saw some really nice defensive plays from him tonight in left.
Yeah, best defensive game of the season for Dominguez. We saw the way he was moving in the outfield. And this one right off the bat, Bob, just the way he goes back on this ball and then makes the leaping catch. I mean, this is the athleticism and the agility that the Yankees talk about. I thought he had the right route to that ball. And when the ball's hit like that, your route is go get the ball. But I thought he had the right movement toward the ball. And then because he's so athletic, Bob, to be able to reach up and make that catch. And Paul O'Neill, who has played both left field and right field as a major league outfielder, said, you make plays like that, your confidence starts to build. It's just like at the plate. If you go out there and everything looks like a beach ball, the next time you're up, you think you're going to do damage. That's why I think he has to play. Keep the reps going, because Dominguez will get more and more comfortable.
It all results in a 4-1 win for the Yanks in the opener. We'll take a quick break here on the WB Mason postgame, and when we come back, we'll hear from the manager, Aaron Boone, about the victory, so stick around.
Game show on Yes is presented by WB Mason. Get fast free delivery of food service products you need at prices you'll love. Request your free catalog today at WBMason.com. Post-game show on Yes is brought to you in part by Audi, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Yankees. Visit your tri-state Audi dealer today.
Well, tonight, stay tuned for the premiere of a new Yes docuseries, The Stadium, and go behind the scenes to see the inner workings of one of the most iconic sports venues in the world. Watch the first episode immediately following post-game coverage on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Great to have you back once again here on the WB Mason postgame. Yanks get the win against the Royals in the opener, 4-1. 5 strong innings from Carlos Carrasco and powered by 4 home runs from Yankees hitters. Let's hear from Aaron Boone now in the manager's report, brought to you by Toyota.
Aaron, what do you think allowed your team to get to Lugo?
Homers. I mean, he was pretty good. You know, he's always tough on us, and he was tough again on us tonight. You know, he pitched well when he go into the 7th there. You know, but the solo homers, just handful of good swings from our lefties that were able to jump them and be the difference tonight. So I thought we battled well against him, but I also thought he pitched well against us.
You mentioned those home runs in the lefties. We talked to you a little bit about Jazz Chisholm, and you said it's the weather. It's the weather. Is it simply just that, or is it more than that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit of that, and a little bit of baseball, and hitting's hard. So, you know, everyone's going to kind of have their little lulls and whatnot, but he's going to hit, and big one to get us going tonight.
What did you think of some of the plays that Jason Dominguez made out there in left field? What did that kind of show you?
Yeah, I mean, he keeps getting better. But those are 2 really good ones. He's starting to make them, you know, just what I like is the ease in the routes and the ease that he's getting to those balls. You know, I feel like that's where he's really, even since the start of the season, I feel like he's grown, and just, you know, the right footwork, the right move to the ball. And that's when you're going to start to see his range with his speed show up. So really pleased with his strides out there, and we just got to keep at it.
Brendan. With Jason, do you think he's starting to get to a point where things are more reactionary for him, where he's not really thinking about it so much?
Yeah, I think that's only natural. You know, I mean, he's worked his butt off here for, you know, over 2 months now, every day, just reps out there. And I think there's, you know, no greater teacher than experience. And, you know, he's done a lot of work out there, a lot of reps, a lot of innings. So, and you know, I've maintained with you guys the whole time, like he's going to get, I think, really good out there. That's my expectation for him. And as he continues to gain experience, we're seeing him continue to get better.
Brian and Susan.
What'd you see from Carrasco tonight?
Just moxie, man. I thought his change was really good. You know, had good bottom to it. He was kind of working through his breaking balls, you know, as the night went on, and I thought he executed some good ones there. But I thought his changeup was really good, and you know, he was in and around the strike zone enough, able to get a little bit of chase with it too. But just, you know, after kind of the first inning was long on him, and even the second inning, you know, he was really pretty efficient from there on out. So a big 5 innings by him.
Ron.
With Jason, did you and the staff have to reinforce his self-confidence that it would come with reps, or did he have that within him that really didn't need to be bucked up?
Yeah, I think maybe a little of both. I feel like he's a really confident kid and understands that, he's still gaining experience out there. So you try and set those expectations for him, and Louis done a great job with him of just working with him and communicating with him and learning from some good moments, some rough moments. There's always teaching points when you're gaining experience. But, I feel like deep down he knows he's going to be really good out there. It's just, still a little bit new.
Seemed to be a good reaction to the dugout when he got back after each inning.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Meredith, do you have a question?
Bellinger there in the eighth, just what went into that? Just a matter of you were going to put him in for defense anyway?
Yeah.
Anyone else? Ron.
With Grisham this year, is the biggest difference just getting more regular at-bats early and not getting as cold as last spring?
I think so. I think that has a lot to do with it. He's a really good player. And to me, he just had a really good look to him from day one in spring training. And I feel like he's looked like this player throughout. And again, I feel like, I was probably did him a little bit of a disservice too by not getting him enough reps, especially early in the season. I anticipated him playing a ton for us, and then we were largely healthy until G went down in August, and that's when really the only time he got some pretty regular playing time and did well. So he's a really good two-way player, and obviously he's had a huge impact on us already this year, and so it's a challenge, trying to get everyone regular reps and things, but I'm trying to definitely do that with Grish.
Thank you, Aaron.
Jack, it's interesting that he brings Grisham up as related to Stanton, because though we're seeing Rice get a lot of reps at DH, he can also throw Judge in there at times. It gives him liberty to use Grisham more in the outfield, and those regular reps have happened. It's 4 home runs for him now and a .343 batting average.
Just a different player because he's getting the opportunity to play. And I give Aaron Boone a lot of credit because in spring training, he said, I'm going to play Grisham a lot more than I did last year, because he understood Grisham did wait for an opportunity last year, and it was opportunity that did not come. Bob, you mentioned the 4 home runs. It took him until June to hit his 4th home run for the Yankees last season. So it just shows how the at-bats were scarce. And even when you dissect that at-bat against Lugo, we talked about how Lugo had so many different weapons. Grisham worked the count to 3-2. And even though you've got 10 different pitches, if you're Lugo in that spot, you don't want to allow a base runner. You're probably going to throw a fastball there. He threw a fastball, and Grisham, with that very unique and distinctive grip on the bat, hit a home run.
And to your point, he looks like a guy who has the timing of a guy who's getting regular reps and not a guy who's playing once a week or maybe coming in and pinch hitting.
If you remember early in the season, Bob, when he was asked about that, about how do you stay ready or how have you tried to stay ready, he talked about the mental side of it. I think you can keep yourself ready these days, especially with the traject machine, which is simulating opposing pitchers. You could take as many swings as you want. But I found it interesting that Grisham multiple times mentioned the mental side of it and how you want to play, you want to be in there 6 or 7 days a week. There might be some weeks where you're only in there 2, 3, 4 times. So I think he came into this season understanding that, but he also came into the season has now found out he's getting a lot more playing time.
All right, we got to take another break. Stick around. We got game highlights coming up, or clubhouse reaction as the Yanks win this one 4-1 over the Royals in the opener of 3 in the Bronx.
Yankees post-game show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Kia dealers. Visit Kia.com to discover movement that inspires. Yes is brought to you in part by FanDuel. New customers get $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins.
We're back with game highlights presented by your local Ford stores. And let's start top of the third, Jack, in a scoreless game and the only blemish on the ledger of Carlos Carrasco.
Yeah, it's the 10th pitch of the at-bat. It's a slider. It's not down enough. And Witt Jr., who is a perennial MVP candidate, go down and get it. His second homer gives KC a 1-0 lead.
On to our memorable moments in Yankees history presented by Prevagen, made for your brain. Top of the fourth, Sal Perez leading off the inning. Bidding for extra bases, not going to happen.
Yeah, the more reps Dominguez gets, the better he is going to be out there. We talked about the route that he took to that ball, but then also, Bob, the athleticism and catching it in that lavender glove.
So a 1-0 game, bottom of the fourth. Jazz Chisholm Jr. up, nobody on, and just crushes that one out for his 6th home run of the season. That'll tie the game at 1. And what's going on with Jazz and Pat Rustler there?
Yeah, he told Meredith that he started that in spring training, and sometimes he bites him. That's his description of that.
Speaking of bite, Trent Grisham takes a bite out of that one. 3-2 fastball from Lugo, up and out, 4th of the year. Yanks have the lead, and they weren't done.
So can I use bite with Ben Rice? Because that seems even more appropriate. When Rice is at the plate, yeah, he's going to take a bite out of that pitch as well. And it's a cutter from Lugo. No longer. It's a souvenir for the fans. 5th of the season for Rice. 3-1 Yankees.
Austin Wells, 2 batters later. That one's gone, too. Right inside the foul pole. Yanks' 3rd home run of the inning, his 3rd home run of the year, makes it 4-1. Now, top of that night, Devin Williams did allow a single and a walk, but gets out of it.
He gets out of it, Bob. The changeup wasn't as superb as it was on Saturday, but Williams did enough to get the 3 outs he needed to get. He gets his 2nd save as a Yankee.
Yanks win it 4-1 over KC in a 2-hour, 23-minute game. They now have 32 home runs this season. That is the most through 16 games of franchise history. Carlos Carrasco picking up his 2nd win of the season. Speaking of Cookie, we're going to hear from him coming up. Gets the win tonight. Leads the Yankees to victory. They needed a good one from a starter, and they got it tonight.
Post-game show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Hyundai dealers. There's never been a better time to test drive that Hyundai you've always wanted. Visit HyundaiUSA.com today.
A reminder that tomorrow, Tuesday, is the first all-access batting practice show of the season. Meredith Morakovitz will have live on-field interviews with players and coaches. Plus, you never know where she might end up on the special segment we call Mayor on the Move. It all starts at 6 o'clock right here on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Now to our pitching decisions of the night presented by Sage, and let's focus on Carlos Carrasco. Again, Jack, from the outset, battling a bit in that first after walking a couple.
He had a good changeup all night, and it started right here, getting Perez to swing over that. There were 2 batters on. There was only 1 out. In the second, with a full count, he gets Biggio to swing over a slider. In the third, this time it's Isbell who chases that slider. Again, look at the fade on that pitch. And then finally in the 5th, Bob, 1 more slider. Keep it down there. Make it look like a fastball or a strike, and then have it dive out of the zone.
After giving up the 3rd inning home run to Bobby Witt Jr., Carrasco retired the final 7 that he faced. His pitch breakdown was terrific. A true 5-pitch mix in throwing 79 pitches, 49 for strikes. Let's hear from Carrasco now.
Hey, Carlos, how were you able to navigate through that lineup for 5 innings, allowing just 1 run?
You know what? I think everything what we did before the game, it was working on him. I started the first inning with 2 walks. I'm able to hold it right there. I got 1 run. It's about 10 pitches. I got his last slide down, way down. He just went and looked for that, and that's the only run they have, and just able to hold it right there.
You mentioned those 2 walks in that first inning. How were you able to bear down, and what adjustments did you make for the next 4?
You know what, I think I was thinking about that I don't have anything on base. I just go pitch, 1 pitch at a time, and that's what I did. We were able to get out of the inning.
What did you think of Jason Dominguez behind you in the field today? He had a lot.
Oh, my God. He made a great play. The one Salvador, the land dry he hit, he made a great play right there, man.
En la primera entrada tuviste mucho problema, pero saliste bien.
Sí, salí bien y yo creo que lo mejores fueron los pensamientos que estaba haciendo, que era no tenía absolutamente nadie en base y pude sacar el inning.
Aaron said that he really liked the way your changeup was working tonight. Just how did you feel about that pitch?
It was really good. Change, I slided and just mixed it with the two-seamer too, so that was the key the whole game.
What makes Jazz a tough out from facing him in the NL East? What makes Jazz a tough out from when you faced him in the NL East?
It was a lot. Yeah, I was throwing every pitch. He always got me, but I'm glad that I'm on the same side with him.
This rotation's been through a lot, obviously injuries and just start the year. Just how did it feel to kind of deliver a start like that in the spot for you guys?
You know what? It's gonna happen, and sometimes it's happen. I know the guy just gonna step up and just go in there and pitch, man. But we always battled, and we had a great team too.
Well, there's a pitcher happy about the outcome and feeling really good about his stuff, and he should. We detailed it, and of the highlights that we showed of Carrasco, Jack, and Boone mentioned this, really living at the bottom of that zone against the Royals hitters.
And that's where he needs to live. David Cohen pointed it out in the early innings of the game. You can't hang pitches if you're Carlos Carrasco. His velocity was slightly up today, Bob, but he's been sitting at around 91. He did throw one pitch at about 92.5, but he's not going to overpower anyone. So when you're not going to overpower anyone, your slide or your sink or your changeup, everything has to be down. I was also intrigued by what he said about just acting as if there were no runners on base in the first inning. This was his 328th Major League game, and he developed a new trick. I'm just going to act like they're not there, and I'm going to go at the batter. And maybe it's not a new trick. Maybe that's something that he does all the time because it was a smart move. That strikeout of Perez, that might have been not only the key to that inning, but the key to Carrasco's outing because he got through that first. He's allowed to exhale, and he gave up the homer to Witt, but the rest of it was a clean outing.
No doubt. We got to take a break. More coming up here on the WB Mason postgame. More reaction. Jazz going deep. 1 of 4 Yankees lefties going deep. They took a bite out of the Royals tonight, 4-1. More reaction coming up.
Yankees post-game show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. Learn more at genesis.com.
Yankees with the 4-1 win. There's the Yankees box score. 9 hits for the team. Aaron Judge and Paul Goldschmidt each go. Judge goes 2 for 4. Goldschmidt goes 1 for 3. And, of course, Yankees powered by 4 home runs from Grisham, Rice, Wells, and Jazz Chisholm Jr. By the way, Jazz speaking in the clubhouse after about the offense and the work of Carlos Carrasco in our Genesis Sounds of the Game.
I think he did amazing. What was it, 5 innings, 1 hit? Yeah, he did really well, man. I faced Carrasco for literally all of my career, so I know what he could go out there and do, and we expect him to go out there and have a competitive outing every time, you know.
Yes, you didn't get to Lugo all that much, but when you did, it was a hard hit. Was there anything you guys were looking for, especially from the left side, that allowed you to homer 4 times?
We all know that he's very aggressive in the zone. He doesn't like to walk people, and if you watch his last couple of games, he's really been in the strike zone a lot, and in the strike zone really early before 2 strikes. So I think we went in there with the plan of attack and get your pitch early. He throws 8 or 9 pitches, but get your pitch early and attack it.
What did you think about what Jason Dominguez is starting to do out in left field? How good he's become?
Oh, he's done great, man. If you see him work every day, he goes out there every day and he works his butt off just to get better, And that's all you could ask for from a young kid, just to go out there and keep working, man, because you're going to get better over the years. He's 22, right? Yeah, he's got a lot. He's got a lot more years in this game, a lot more years than I got left, you know what I mean? But he's going to be okay, man. I think he's going to be a really good defender one day, especially the work that I've been watching him put in this year and last year. And I think he's going to be great.
From your experience, what's the biggest challenge adjusting moving to the outfield?
In the outfield, the biggest challenge for me, I feel is just knowing your angles, knowing how hard the ball is hit, seeing how hard the ball is hit. It's hard to see how hard the ball is hit. You hear a crack of the bat and you might think it's hit 110 miles per hour and it's hit 86 miles per hour, Just making that adjustment with your eyes and always being ready out there. So I would say that and first step.
How are you feeling at the plate, home run, and back-to-back games?
I mean, I've been feeling good at the plate this whole time, man. Like I said, it's just been kind of cold. Ain't nothing about it. It's getting warm now, so we're just going to warm up.
You changed something in your mechanic this year because you show more power at the plate?
Not at all. I think I've been swinging the same. I feel like I was playing in Miami where the field's very big compared to the field here. And, I mean, I feel like the field plays to my ability out there, you know.
You said in spring training that you were going to try to keep pace with Judge. Feel good with where you're at so far?
Hey, you remind me of that. I was lost for a second, but you remind me about that. Yeah, I got to go talk to him right now. Now you say that, I'm back on him. I think I'm beating him right now, right? Stolen bases.
Yeah.
So I'm beating him. You got to add both.
In totality.
And you know how they say OPS is what? On base plus slug, home runs plus stolen bases. That's how we're doing this, you know?
Everybody could just do their own computations. But having said that, Jazz having a little fun with Judge. They each have 6 home runs. Jazz actually leading with 4 stolen bases. 30-30, certainly in line for Judge, we think. For Jazz, 30-30, and we even kind of looked ahead to the way he's swinging the bat. Could he be a 40-40 guy?
Someone sitting to your left called 30-30 out before the season began,
Right.
so I'm holding to that right now. Only 2 Yankees have ever done that. It would have been Bobby Bonds and Alfonso Soriano, but you have to get a kick out of him having fun with Judge and having that homer stolen base competition. What's also interesting about him already having 6 home runs, Bob, mixed into that is a career worst 0 for 24. So a lot of vacant at-bats during that time. But he mentioned this the other day. He has been barreling up a lot of baseballs and not getting any results. If you look under the hood, his barrel percentage is actually way up in the league. It started before today's game at the 94th percentile.
Earlier, you kind of joked about this. That Judge did not hit a home run in this game, but 4 other guys did. He was on base, again, multiple times. He was 2 for 4. Goldschmidt, 2 really good at-bats to go 2 for 4 again. So I know it's early, but each of those guys, each hitting 367 so far.
It's why, Bob, when we talk about Judge, I know there's a tendency and a rush to talk about the home runs, as we should, because he is the most prolific home run hitter in the game, but he's also a great hitter. He is a guy who goes up there with a plan. He tries to execute that plan. Sometimes it yields a 108-mile-per-hour bullet that travels 450 feet. Sometimes it's a scorching 110 or 115-mile-per-hour shot that gets through the infield. And as the guys during the broadcast pointed out, you hit a ball that hard, no infielder's tracking it down. It's shooting its way right into the outfield.
Well, Jason Dominguez had a good game, as we saw. Really good game defensively in left field. Let's hear from him post-game.
Jason, how would you rate the degree of difficulty of that catch you made there in the 4th inning?
It was tough. It was tough, but I got a good jump on it. Just keep the eyes on the ball, and at the end, I couldn't catch it.
We've talked to you a lot about playing left field and the defense. How validating is it for you to just make a play like that out there?
I mean, for myself, after I make that play, it feels pretty good because, you know, I'll be working every day with Rojas. Very consistent work, and it's showing up.
Did it add to it when you got back to the dugout? It seemed like all your teammates recognized that.
Oh, for sure. They were more happy than me.
What was your thought process as you were racing back for that ball? Did you think you had a beat on it?
I mean, at that point, you don't have thought. You just go get it.
What has been the hardest part adjusting? First step, recognizing the spin off the bat?
I mean, I think just in center field you have so much space. You can run pretty much everywhere. Left field you are at the corner. It's be more about the routes and all that.
Is it feeling more natural for you, the position?
Yeah, for sure. With every game, I mean, the more reps that I take, it feels more natural.
Was there ever a point in the last few months you thought it was very hard to get to this point?
Not really. I mean, I had a tough moment first, you said it, but I knew like with the reps, it'll be good.
So Dominguez saying routes are key in playing left field, especially at Yankee Stadium. But as you said, in this 4th inning at bat here by Perez, sometimes it's just react.
Yeah, the route is go get the baseball, and he does. When you're talking about taking a route where you have to sprint across the outfield and maybe go 80 feet or something like that, in that situation, Bob, it's Joe, go get the ball, but he did take the right route. This is more of taking a route where you have to camp under that baseball. I watched him in spring training, saw him struggle in spring training. I reached out to Buck Showalter, our former colleague, who's also been the manager of the year 4 different times, and he said, if you judge any outfielder by what you see in spring training, he said, you're being unfair to that outfielder. He talked about the high sun and the wind and the lack of the third deck. He said, you can't judge someone based on just what you see in spring training. And I think when you look at the athleticism and the agility that Dominguez brings, Bob, he showed tonight he can be a very solid defensive player.
Yeah, those are just instincts right there. Hey, one more reminder, by the way, that we're coming up on the premiere of the new Yes docuseries, The Stadium. Get an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at Yankee Stadium, one of the most iconic sports venues in the world. It all comes your way immediately following this postgame here on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Well, Jack and I will take one more break, and when we come back, a look ahead to Game 2 of this series, and it is going to be Max Fried on the hill looking up to back up a gem of a performance his last time out.
Yankees postgame show on Yes is brought to you in part by EEP Law, New York City's powerhouse firm for victims.
Let's look ahead to Game 2 on Tuesday night at the stadium. Probables courtesy of Nissan. It'll be Michael Wacha against Max Fried. Wacha still looking for his first win of the season. Walks have been a little bit of a problem for him. As for Max Fried, Jack, walks not a problem. Strikeouts, a problem for the opposition. He's coming off 11 Ks against the Tigers.
Yeah, vintage performance when the Yankees absolutely needed a vintage performance. It was cold and frigid, and the bats were cold in Detroit. But as I always say, your team can be stabilized by what your starting pitcher does. Fried was outstanding that day, 7 scoreless innings. You mentioned the 11 Ks and the no walks. And this is a good matchup for him. Kansas City, yes, Bobby Witt Jr. is great. Perez is a terrific offensive player, but they do not have a solid offensive team. They've only hit 9 home runs all year, and they're averaging a shade over 3 runs per game. I think Fried, if he has his best stuff, this is a lineup he can tame.
Royals held to just the 1 run on 2 hits tonight, and 1 run only, and the 1 hit allowed by Carlos Carrasco in getting the win. Let's get your Yes Press headline.
Well, you might be peeking at my notes because, of course, Carrasco has to be part of this headline. And our headline tonight, Bob, is Cookie.
Oh, that's a good one.
Is a pitching monster, and lefty hitters, 4 home runs, devour KC. Give me a little Cookie Monster. You've got to have that in your... There you go.
I love Cookie. Yeah, and you do love him tonight. I mean, he was great. He stabilized, because this was part of our pregame conversation, was that everybody but Max Fried had their problems. And just getting 5 solid innings, it just sets a tone for the next 2 games against KC.
Cole's gone for the season. We don't know exactly when Heel is returning. The pitchers at the back end of the rotation need to give the Yankees something. No one is asking them to go out there and pitch 8 innings and shut down the opponent, but they're looking for those starters to get them to the middle innings with a chance to win the game. That's what Carrasco did.
I just do want to go back to one thing. The power is so key at the stadium. And while the weather conditions, and listen, everybody had to play in the cold weather, seem to knock down some Yankees home runs as things warm up, we're going to probably see a little more of what we saw tonight. Not only quality of bats, but the ball with a true flight over the wall instead of to the warning track.
I think Jazz Chisholm gave Meredith an honest answer when she asked him about any adjustments that he had made. He has 2 homers in his last 5 plate appearances. He talked about the warm weather because, Bob, when you struggle in the cold and then it can get inside your head in terms of your confidence as well, and you start thinking about the elements as opposed to just going out there and playing the game. And I think we saw evidence of the Yankees doing that.
So it's like the Jack Creed demeanor if he runs on a 30-degree cloudy day or a nice sunny and 75 day, right? You got a smile on your face.
Yeah, I have a smile on my face on the 75-degree day.
That's
the 30-degree day, I just say, okay, I've got this warm weather gear that somebody gave me for Christmas. I better wear it.
Well, we thank you for joining us. Look forward to seeing you on Tuesday. All Access BP at 6, pregame at 6:30, first pitch a little after 7 o'clock. Yankees win the opener 4-1 against KC. We look forward to seeing you again Tuesday night. Until then, take care.